Welcome back to Nerd Church. We are jumping back in after a pretty long travel episode last time, as I was revisiting it earlier today. You all have been trekking through the wilderness for 11 days, facing all kinds of encounters off the random table. You have passed through jungle and desert, and most recently a very odd series of hills that seem unnaturally uniform. You battled spiders, dire wolves led by a werewolf. You pushed through sandstorms, flash floods, and all kinds of little distractions on your journey. You got another view of the giant roaming battleships, the leftovers of a weapons program during the Great War. And at the very end of our last session, you battled a couple of Ettins who were napping on the hillsides, which got you just enough experience for most of everybody to level up. So before we jump into our final leg of this journey down to the glowing coast, let's go around the table quick and hear a little bit about anything significant you think that has happened for your character in this level up. And what I'm less interested in is like a list of mechanically all the things your character can do now, and more interested in if there's something that's particularly exciting to you and how you think narratively it evolved for your character. So Potom, you gave us a little of this last time actually as you introduced Potom 2.0.
Yeah.
But we can do some more of that. So why don't we start with you, Alex? What is New Potom about?
It's funny. Just before we started the recording, we were talking about doing our homework from session to session, and I had actually built Potom in two different ways. If I was going to continue with a straight artificer, or if I was going to add in a paladin level, which I did end up going through with the paladin level up, and so. To distinguish the characters, there was Art Potomfar and Pal Potomfar, and so I'm looking at Pal Potomfar right now. The coolest thing is that with this, paladins kind of have a holy armor, and Potom's exocomp has kind of become that armor for him. It's still in a very rough phase at the moment, as I see it, kind of like C-3PO in the opening three, or the first, the Phantom Menace. He's kind of without a skin at the moment, so we're not quite getting the full benefit of that armor yet. But yeah, it comes along with a bunch of pretty cool features.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're seeing narratively Potom's sort of mental shift or paradigm shift, let's say, about how he views the world starting to impact the way that he's building, which I think is pretty cool, as Potom gets a little metaphysical, and it's starting to impact the way he does engineering, and also he's getting a little more I don't know, maybe would you describe it as like pragmatic about the effort, like pragmatic versus pacifist?
Right. I think before he was worried about getting his hands dirty, and as we are increasingly seeing, Potom needs to take responsibility for his actions, and so this is sort of Potom taking responsibility. Knowing that he's going to need a great amount of power coming into this next big boss battle. And so he's kind of preparing himself for that.
Nice.
I like that.
How are
vow was gonna work. Did Panem take vows? Is there consequences for breaking them?
Vows happen in level 3 for
Oh,
paladins.
never mind.
I think vows happen later on, and so I just kind of feel like this. So it's paladin in nature, but ultimately we're kind of just doing a new thing here. We're gonna figure it out as we go along. So
Nice.
how to weave paladin and artificer together to make them coalesce. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I like it. I am a fan of when you're going to multi-class. I'm a fan of that happening because of the story, not happening because you think the two
Because you want to.
like are cool together. And this feels like that to me. Like Potem's having this awakening, and if there's synergies, great. But it's more about I think it's interesting the conflicts actually between paladin and artificer that can come up is pretty neat.
Yeah, I like that too. And it felt right for someone who was walking the pacifist role to sort of take on, the holier than thou. Like I am doing this for holy reasons.
Right.
Like I am morally right.
Mhm.
So
I
anyway,
dig it.
yeah, no, it just kind of seemed to fit that way.
And how about air?
Air, I think she's also kind of going through an internal struggle where her dependency and her connection to her patron is growing deeper, and she's both resisting it for obvious reasons, but she's also intrigued by it and at times leaning into it. Mm-hmm. So as far as how that's manifesting, at 6th level, she gained the ability to, let me just read it. She basically gained the ability to kind of capture a fallen humanoid soul and bend it to her will. So she can create a specter.
Cool.
Yeah. So when you slay a humanoid,
Shut up. Sorry.
When you slay I wasn't kind of down on it, but you guys are excited. When you slay a humanoid, you can cause its spirit to rise as a specter that gains +3 temporary hit points. Roll initiative for the specter. For the specter, which has its own turns, it obeys your verbal commands, gains +5 bonus to attack rolls, and remains until the end of your next long rest. So it sticks around for quite a while. This is actually what makes it kind of cool. I didn't realize this. It's not an action. You can just choose when it happens.
That's
it doesn't. Yeah, you don't
really
waste an
cool.
action raising the specter. It just happens.
And you can just have one at a time. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
You can only do it once per long rest. So that's how it works.
Got it.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's neat.
The other little tidbit, which I had meant to do actually a long time ago and then completely forgot, as like part of I wanted to show the same kind of idea where Air is kind of leaning into her powers a little more in kind of incremental ways, and I completely spaced on it. But what I wanted to do is kind of raise change the weapon as it deepens. So I had started with just like a short sword, and I had gone to a long sword. And at some point, I had meant to go to a great sword, and then I forgot. But now it's a great sword.
Oh, sick!
So yeah, the next time she pulls out her sword, it's gonna transform into a great sword.
We're gonna all be like, ooh, wow.
I like that. I like
What
that.
just happened?
Do me a favor and maybe everybody, but Air specifically, remind me. I need you to. We're gonna do a couple things. So first, remind me when you first used this new Spectre ability.
Sure.
Because I want to describe to you how it works for you.
Okay.
Because of who your patron is.
Sure.
It's gonna be.
Specific.
It's gonna be different than just the off the rack.
Okay.
I think.
That's
not,
cool.
Not radically different, but it's gonna be a little different.
Even flavor of wise.
Flavor wise, it's gonna be different.
Typically, do they ever
learn who their patrons are, or is that anonymous for the entire time?
Oh no, this is
Yeah,
atypical.
Okay.
So the traditional warlock experience
Yeah.
is you negotiate a pact with a
Okay.
being, and
Yeah.
you're like in that, and you know it.
Devil at the crossroads.
Yeah.
So this is
So
your
it's a really cool approach to
Play
the
on it,
character for Thomas to
Yeah.
take, is like he basically said, you decide who my patron is and I'll discover it as the game goes on. So I've built out the patron and am acting essentially as the patron.
Yeah.
But Thomas still doesn't know
That's awesome.
who the patron is,
Yeah.
and Thomas doesn't know who the
So
patron is.
this isn't. I just thought it was how it always
fun.
goes because this is the first time I've played alongside a warlock. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's
It's pretty
awesome.
fun. Quick technical question, and then I have another thing for you. Does anybody have better computer speakers than me? Because Alex is so quiet.
I have,
Do you
pretty,
wanna-
I have pretty good.
computer?
Go for it.
So
Get it.
if you do, I'm just going to mute my sound, and then maybe we can hear Alex better.
Oh, well, yeah, I think you gotta. Did you mute yours?
My audio is. Oh, that's not going to work, is it?
Because your microphone.
Because I'm the microphone. Shoot. Okay. Well, JK. We'll do our best.
Dang.
Just have to yell.
Maybe I'll just talk louder.
Yeah.
Weird. I wish you could.
Just I see it as just leaning into Potom. That's all that is. He's a noisy little rock gnome. All right. So the other thing I need you to remind me, or not remind me, you have a task now,
Yeah.
which is every time
And I took notes.
you, well that too.
Oh, okay. You mean not that? Yeah.
No, but every time Air either spends money or feeds the box, we need to do a roll.
Okay, I like it.
So from now on,
Oh, right, yeah.
we need to remember to do
We
this.
collectively, yeah, we'll remember.
Between
yeah.
the two of us, we just need to remember if Air's spending money or feeding the box, we got to roll.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know how the roll's going to work now,
Perfect.
but we just have to remember to do it.
Sure.
That's going
I
to
like
be the
it.
hard part.
Yep. I
Is
like
that a role for the tracking device? Is that
That's a roll.
okay?
for
Then
tracking
I
thing.
will also
Try to
try
remember.
to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Keep us
in
honest.
preparation for this session, I went on a wild tangent. Instead of spending as much time prepping for this session as I should have, I spent a lot of time thinking about the mechanics of how this was going to work and what would happen if and when the tracking coin went somewhere. So now I'm ready for that.
That's
but
awesome.
it may or may not happen.
I love it.
Or when it happens. Okay. Pando.
Yes. So I would say Pando has a lot of learning to do still, but can you hear me, Alex, at this volume?
Yep.
Cool.
Perfect.
Because I can also be louder. So I would say for Pando, just a deep realization that everything she was taught was like woefully underprepared her. Like she thought that she had like learned everything about, you know, how to use her powers or like where her powers came from, and this whole experience has shown her that she was given like the training wheels version, and like nobody ever taught her anything about this. And I would say, without revealing too much, she is really starting to feel a shift away from being like a human with connection to the wild and capabilities to wild shape, and much more comfortable in her wild shape forms than possibly even her human forms.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, I really like the idea that Pando has had sort of like a parallel out of the nest journey.
Yeah.
Right. So she was at once this sheltered high elf.
Super black and white on right and wrong.
Yeah.
And that was her whole initiative into like doing this.
Yeah, and but at the same time living in a very sheltered space, right? She was the progressive voice sitting in a nest of privilege.
Right.
Like we need to
Shame,
do better,
shame.
right?
Shame.
And then getting dumped out of that into the quote unquote real world where it's harsh and messy and she's murdering people
Right.
in defense,
Sometimes
right?
with her mouth.
sometimes with her mouth. So like
And it
there's
tastes so good.
Right? She's like, I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
so there's this journey for Panda, which any character, regardless of class, would probably take if they went from where Panda was to where she is, like out on the road as an adventurer. But I like that there's a parallel journey for Panda's relationship with the wild as a druid, because she also came to her druidic powers in this very sheltered environment. Like the way the elves practice this specific form of being a druid
Right.
is the equivalent of like learning farming in like a little greenhouse in the middle of the city.
Yeah, like the way that it always, like the visual in my head is, if you're familiar with Harry Potter, when Umbridge comes in and she replaces all of their like dark arts books and like true textbooks with like the stupid standardized
Yes.
books from the ministry, where they're like, this isn't actually gonna help us like at all
Right.
with the actual dangers we're facing. That is, I feel, how Pando initially learned, not with any malice or intention to like keep her sheltered, but because they're like, you wouldn't possibly need anything else.
Right.
And now she's really learning like the dark arts,
Yeah.
because she has to, because they're being, hunted.
Yeah, I mean, you've been tossed headfirst into the capital W wild.
Right.
The true experience of where druidic magic developed, right, out
Yes.
in the world. And I do think that for her teachers, it wasn't malice, certainly, but that's not to say that the Empire at a higher level didn't have some intentionality behind sanitizing
Right.
what it means to be a druid in the Empire, right? It's like, well, sure, you can celebrate your culture of being a druid. That's
Right.
cute. And here, well, here's all the approved, right? Like when the Roman Empire would take over a territory and be like, yeah, keep your gods.
Right.
But really, we're just going to need to all acknowledge that those are just different names for our gods.
Right.
So like, yeah, that's cute, but
Right.
that guy you worship is Jupiter.
Right.
And you can call them what you want, but
Right.
let's not get it twisted, right?
Right.
So it's versions of that, I
Yeah.
think, exist here. And so, yeah, that's a cool part of it. And
And in
it's
my head,
interesting to
that's
think how
also-
far the pendulum might swing, because there's momentum for Pando here
Yes.
now.
In my head, two things exist, and they have existed for a while. Number one, she is always going to be clunky as she learns new things because she has very little frame of reference. And number two, she is in it right now. It's not like a one-time event, but she is going to continuously struggle with the tension or the pull inside her to like just completely give in to the wild and like who knows what kind of ramifications there are there,
Yeah.
versus keeping herself as she knows herself and allowing a connection to the wild or allowing those powers in. And I don't know like which way it's gonna go for her.
Yeah, I like it.
I feel like if this was an HBO show,
Yeah.
our characters would be
Three of you would be
foils.
dead
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right, right.
But they make very good foils.
after you
Yes,
had slept
right.
with each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
They make very good foils. I think about they have lots of like the elf connection to
Yeah.
everything, and
Yeah.
and then how they're dealing with these unique situations or and these new powers and how they're some
Yeah.
are leaning how we lean into it or how we don't.
Yeah. And there is this piece of Pando, and it doesn't come out a lot in like our narratives, but it's in my head, where she has a memory of like comfort and cush and privilege and family and safety. Like that was her life. Like she opted for this. And every once in a
Right.
while she's like why?
Right.
Why am I doing this again? And that's that tension with like the wild, the bigger picture, and then her little safety bubble that's back there that she came from.
Well, and what's interesting about Pando, unlike everyone else, right now, and I guess we couldn't say this for certain, I'd have to reflect on some of the things you all have done, but Pando's probably the only one right now that if she just pulled the ripcord, could probably just go back
She thinks about that
to that
sometimes.
life. Like,
Yeah,
you're not on wanted posters.
right.
Like, that your group is a known entity,
Right.
but Pando specifically has not been identified as a
Right.
part of this group. Like, you're the one that could probably.
Pando's not the one that stands out in the group.
Yeah, that's right, right.
Well,
You're,
especially because you can change what you look like. Too.
Exactly. That's true.
so it is interesting to think that like some nights as she's laying by the campfire that Pando might think like, I could just get on a boat, go back to Chukip and just plug back in.
And
To my life.
for insight into like who she is, although this probably isn't surprising since she's constantly wanting to be best friends and hug you. A lot of her motivation is these people now.
Yeah.
Is this group,
Right.
right? It's not just the wild, it's not just the greater cause, it is these
Yep.
people that she is with.
Not a surprise that Pando's a found family
Right?
princess for sure. Yeah, no surprise there. All right, and how about our
Dragonborn princess.
Dragonborn princess?
Dragonborn princess. So this was what I had gone back and forth every time I thought about this. I'm like, I could not choose what path I wanted to take here for 6 because I have to choose a path, and I think where I've been leaning strongly to for my 6th level totem is so I'm going to do the Path of the Wolf, which gains the hunting sensibilities of a wolf. So the actual ability that I gain is to be able to track other creatures while traveling at a fast pace, and when moving at a normal pace, I can travel stealthily.
Nice.
Now, so that's kind of mechanically what I get, and I think I have like 2 weapon fighting now and some other things like that. But this whole thing with Aspen Kimba, it wasn't a surprise to Freya that like it didn't even sort of bother Freya that people didn't believe her, that they thought maybe she was gonna, because she like really knew, even if there was like a kernel of doubt in her mind or whatever, she could feel deeply this connection that she really had, and it goes just beyond like connecting to her ancestor. It's like a deep so it's physical, it's genetic, it's spiritual, it's everything, and she's plugging more and more into like what her ancestors, this sort of legacy of her ancestors, and I think she's becoming, I hate to say she's becoming more comfortable, because because she has such a huge ego that it's never even a question of comfort. It's always just like, well, of course this is how it is. Mm-hmm. This is just how it is. So she is, it's something also that like the veil isn't just pulled back from her. It's more like the veil is pulled back from her eyes. It's not something new. It's like something that she always just knew was there. Anyway, so not shocking to her, but really learning that, I think that where her questions lie the most is kind of these questions that she has about her mother and who her mother was, and like how that is fitting into like what her destiny, where her destiny is taking her. So she's taking it surprisingly in stride, having all of a sudden an entire command of an entire battle troop through her sword. That she can call up on command. She feels incredibly comfortable with that. So
Nice.
just how that was.
It's just a natural progression.
Yeah.
That's how the world always was meant to work. I dig it.
So Path of the Wolf, I have to add that in somehow.
All right. So as we rejoin the story, we left off as you all were starting to leave this area where the hills were so ominously consistent, and you're shifting into what is clearly a coastal region. So you can smell the salt air, and I think where we ended narratively last time was at the crest of one of these hills, you could actually see the village of Quan Shu off in the distance. So you've got essentially one day of travel remaining before you reach what you believe is the village based on your travel up to this point. So we're going to do one last travel roll and see how things shake out on this final day. So I need a survival, luck, and perception from
I'll do
all the
perception.
peeps.
I will do survival.
I'll do luck.
Perception is 26.
That's quite good.
Survival's 11.
Okay.
7 luck.
And a 7. Okay.
I do too.
All right, so not a whole lot of trouble here. You have a relatively normal day as you proceed towards Quan Chu. Uninterrupted, you keep a weather eye on all the points of the compass and don't see anything challenging. What I can tell you, you observe as you approach the village is this is a much smaller village than you probably anticipated. Like, it's one of these places that probably barely deserves a name. You would be surprised if there's maybe 500 people that live here. So it's a collection of, it's probably closer to call it, rather than a village, a collection of families who have settled in a similar area. What you do see is that the pier dock area is even larger than the village itself. There are roughly a dozen what you assume to be like family-owned fishing boats strung with nets. They're broad, flat sort of craft with interesting sails that almost look like, do you know those sort of accordion shades like that you can buy, like they're like temporary, made of paper? They're like cheap shades that you throw up. Anyway, but they're like, from the side, they look like a honeycomb, like a hexagon.
Yes.
And they unfold like an
Yes.
accordion. That's kind of what these sails look like from a distance. So there's more masts than it looks like a ship of that size would need. And they're sort of wide and flat and boxy. Leads you to believe, as you are kind of speculating on this, Potom, I think in particular, has some insight maybe on this, that this is probably an area of the world that is very protected from the weather. Like, ships like this would not survive choppy seas. So these are the kinds of ships that probably don't go very far from shore, and they probably don't do well when things are not nearly ideal conditions.
I just feel like, Matt, when you're giving these explanations, that it's actually Potom like mansplaining stuff, just at random. Like, oh, do you see that over there?
Yeah, I really like that that idea. Yeah, so 80% of the lore in this game is just Potom riffing about his observations on the world, which actually makes me sometimes just want to say stuff that's not true.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. But with great confidence.
Yes, how I live most of my life. I've built most of my success on it. So as you get closer, Quan Chu is, if you picture in your mind like a Southeast Asian rural coastal village, that's the vibe here. So you've got huts on stilts out over the water. You've got a number of similar, larger, somewhat more permanent buildings on land, probably roofs of palm fronds or something equivalent, dirt streets, small hand carts moving goods around, some water buffalo probably involved here, plenty of chickens running wild.
Water buffalo.
That's that is that's
Chickens.
and chickens. Yeah,
A blacksmith with beautiful masterwork, full plate armor.
that's right. Definitely a huge magical foundry churning out exotic machinery.
So knowing that I probably won't find a a set of armor here. What about somebody with a large stock pot?
A large stock pot? Yeah, that's an easy find in a village like this. In fact, probably I would say one meal a day, at least for the fishermen, is communal. So down by the docks, as you get into the piers, they're not really docks. That implies something much more involved than this. But I would say down by where a lot of the fishing boats dock, there is a massive cauldron that appears to probably be like always simmering with some kind of a heavy fish smell coming out of it. And it would be easy to discover that this is like fisherman's lunch kind of thing. That it's sort of a communal pot that all the fishermen throw a percentage of their catch into, so that at least the ones who are out there keeping the
cuttings,
village alive. Yeah.
Fish heads.
Not good enough to sell.
Not good enough to sell, but it's good enough for them to, it keeps them going, right? It's the protein they need to get out there and do the work every day, 16 hours a day.
Not the prime cuts though, yeah.
No, it's a lot of heads, a lot of fish heads. But yeah, so that definitely exists here.
Friends, I think that we need just a little bit of downtime in this town. Like, personally, I think I'll need 24 hours.
Yeah, fair. There is no inn in Quan Chu, but the weather here is lovely, and it's very reasonable to like camp on the beach. It seems a safe area. There are no like guards posted at this village. It's certainly not a walled village. Most people do go around here armed at a basic level. So everybody's got a knife on their belt, like a fish gutting knife. People carry nets and spears and things like that. Not everyone, not like kids are walking around heavily armed or anything.
Just battle axes.
You never know.
But it's got a frontier town vibe. Like it's
Yeah.
clear that if something were to go down, people know how to take care of themselves. But the whole village gives you a feeling of this is a relatively safe place. Like people there's no door locks. That's not a thing here. And it's so isolated. What is interesting is that as you approach, it's not like you don't get the other than some curious looks because you all are an interesting group.
Everywhere we go.
You don't get a lot of like shock and awe as a group entering the village. So clearly this is a place where, almost because it's one of the only villages out here in the middle of nowhere, people do come here. Like this place is known, so they have passers-by pretty regularly, and they don't seem surprised to see.
So they're not
you.
like terrified of us. They're just
No, they aren't like,
interested.
oh my God, outsiders, right?
Okay.
Like ships come down the coast from time to time. People, who are traveling through the bush, like this is a place that's on the map, so they do show up. And to that end, when you do come into town, a few villagers probably like roll out carpets and put out some goods and things like that.
They're like, ooh.
Just like
tourists.
so you know that there's some stuff available, but there is no market here. This is too small, like for there to be any kind of daily trade market. It's more. There's a few folks who have some stuff, and you're the only people they've seen in a week or two that don't live here. So they're probably like trying to flag you down to see if you need something or need some help. A young girl approaches you almost immediately as you enter the village, and just starts poking at you verbally for what you're here for and what you might need, and bless you, and could she help? So it's anyone with a passive insight over 10 can read that she's probably going to try to run some kind of scam on you, but she's not slick. But she was the first one to get here. So like if you've ever in Mexico or anywhere else been to like very touristy area and immediately been approached.
Chicle.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's strongly that vibe, but there's not enough of them. You're not getting mobbed. There's
Yeah.
just one girl, and she's probably 9, 10, and
Right.
she just gets to you first and is like, welcome, and what can I get you, and where do you need to go, and I'll be your guide, and right, she's running every possible angle she can to try to
Love
get some
it.
coin off you right away.
Piano falls for it.
Immediately.
I was gonna say Potom is
And she's
adorable.
charismatic. She does her job
Yeah.
well.
Potom is definitely, I mean, there for it too. He has a mission in mind, and well, this young lady has presented herself to help him accomplish that.
All right, very good. So you arrive in town. It's early evening, I would say, at the end of your last little bit of journey here. So the sun, let's see, what time of year did we say it was? We're heading into fall. So the sun is probably hanging low on the horizon, and we're at the west. So yeah, so it's out over the ocean. And has everybody had the experience of watching the sun set on the ocean horizon?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
it's spectacular, right? It's a spectacular sunset as you walk into the village. Lots of colors, kind of blasting through the clouds out there. And she initially is just tugging you to like take you on a visual tour of their beautiful village, for which she is asking for a silver piece for the guided tour. But if you want to engage her for anything beyond that,
Piano
you can.
gives her a silver
Sure.
piece.
Yeah.
Can I give you a silver piece not to go on this tour?
She immediately accepts that. Yeah.
Did I say silver piece? I meant gold piece.
Yeah, it strikes you that this girl probably has never seen a gold piece. So she named the biggest money she knows,
Right.
thinking like, I'll pull one over on these outsiders.
Yeah.
And you are getting scammed. Like, that is a scam,
Yeah.
right? So like one silver piece to walk you into the village that you were walking into anyway, as she jabbers
It's literally
about.
holding Piano's hand, kind of just like
Yeah,
handing her money.
Yeah, well, she's selling an experience.
yeah, she is selling an experience.
She's selling an experience.
But she's not worldly enough to know that her scam is really small potatoes for traveling adventures. So like she feels like she's winning big right now. 2 silver pieces already, and all she did was start a tour and then end it early. She's
You know
doing
what?
great.
She's winning.
She's doing great.
winning.
Yeah, she's doing
Yeah,
great.
totally.
She immediately became the richest kid in this town.
Right. Well, and for Piano, like she used to teach kids like that. Like she
Yeah.
makes her think of the kids in the village. you know?
Definitely, yeah, definitely. I think she offers her name, which is Yoon, Y-U-N. So Yoon leads you into the center of town, and the center of town really is not the geographic center of town. It is that communal cookpot down by the docks. So that's probably the village center. Most of the activity of the village happens in a 2-block radius of that.
Ooh, I feel
big
like this
kettle.
this totally was a Potom thing where she's like, "This is the center of town," and he's like, "That's not the center of town."
Yes, definitely. Like, well, technically.
I mean, if this was the center, it would be located 200 feet that direction.
Yeah. I think it also offends Potom a little bit that the town is not laid out it is laid out very organically. So like
Sure.
you had to actually do some quick, fairly advanced calculations in your mind to figure out the true geometric center of town, because it's like an amoeba shape, as oblong and kind of strange. He still got there very quickly, but he had to do more work than he wanted to do to figure.
When he first pointed, it was in that direction, and then was like, there.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so Yoon has guided you to the center of town. The sun is setting over the water. Several villagers are out and about in this area, continuing to stoke the cook fire. And you can see that many of the fishing vessels that are out kind of prowling around the reef some of them are starting to come in right now, but the majority of them are still out there doing their work, throwing nets. What do you want to do?
Yoon, who do I talk to about purchasing this cauldron?
She gives you a very confused and wide-eyed look and says, "Are you saying use the cauldron?"
No, I would like to purchase it for me.
You can tell she's trying really hard to be helpful right now, but she does not know the answer to your question. So she just runs over to one of the more elderly women in the square and tugs on her skirts, and the woman turns and Yoon kind of drags her over to you and introduces her to you. Her title is the head, and the head is the village head woman, basically. Looks at you and says, "I think you must be confused, but she says you want to buy our cook pot?"
Not confused. That is exactly what I need, is to buy this cook pot, and I am willing to pay in. I'm willing to pay in actual monies, but also, I mean, I'm sure that there's something around here that needs to be fixed or better thought out. As an engineer, I would like to profess my services.
She sort of schools her face to remove the quick moment of offense that she takes at your passive-aggressive jab at her shoddy village. And then you can see her kind of calculating. So you can kind of tell this is a sharp woman. But she takes sort of a deep, patient breath and says, "What you may not understand as a visitor to our village is that this communal cookpot feeds everyone, or at least everyone essential to the survival of the families who live here. We have not let the fire beneath this cook fire die out more than once or twice in my entire lifetime of living in this village. We are constantly using this. We could not sell it to you. It would be extremely disruptive to the lives of my people. So while I appreciate your interest and offer, unless you have an alternative to present, you are talking about not only disrupting how we feed everyone here, but also generations of tradition in my village. Again, no offense. You are uneducated about our ways."
Slap down. You don't know anything outside.
There, Bottom takes a little bit of the uneducated part and is like, yes. Perhaps I don't understand your traditions, but I fear that without your cookpot, there might not be a village left for you in the coming days, as we are confronting a great evil, and your cookpot will assist in helping us with that.
All right. Well, in response to that, she looks anxious, and then very confused, and she says, are my people in danger? What are you here as harbingers of some sort of doom? And also doom that can be stopped by a cook pot?
Doesn't seem so bad.
So she's nervous, but she's also now a little dubious about the sanity of the people who have just wandered into her village.
Hilarious.
If you had a blacksmith, I wouldn't need your cook pot. But since you don't, and I'm the only blacksmith here, yes, I need your cook pot, and there is a great evil. I don't have time to explain it all.
Bottom, why don't you roll a
Persuasion.
check for me as you attempt to
Persuade.
I'm not even looking at this roll on here. I would like to use the fuzzy die.
okay, it's fuzzy
Right.
fuzzy die time. All right. So first fuzzy die roll.
Can your sister assist?
Yeah, that you're my pick.
All right,
Can
we're
I
rolling,
get you doing the
we're
fuzzy
rolling
die
at
roll?
advantage.
That's
Let me get out.
fantastic.
Let me see.
I'm gonna make this easy on you, Katie.
This moment.
My skill advantage to this is +0.
+0. All right,
All right,
persuasion
here we
straight
go.
roll. First one is I think we're gonna call that a 9.
That's a
I
9.
thought it was going to be an 18.
At advantage, we're gonna roll again.
Someone else
Hopefully
wanna
better
roll?
than a 9.
Okay, here we go.
Come on,
Here we
princess.
go.
Ooh, good spin on it. Let's see. That is another 9.
Almost an 18.
Oh, that is close. That's close.
You can re-roll. We'll say it's cocked.
Okay.
I'll give you
It
that.
was.
We'll say it's cocked.
Okay. Come on.
Give it a little fluffing before you.
Come on.
Oh,
13.
13. I'm confident that's a 13. Okay.
13.
that's pretty good.
With a +0.
I sent the video to Alex so he could see.
I don't know. That's
Fantastic.
like 13 and 20.
Yeah, I think we've all established a 13 there.
Okay.
Not enough to overturn the vote.
No, I don't think a 13 is gonna do it.
Sorry.
So
Someone
she,
else can.
at this point, she turns to all the rest of the companions here and says, you are welcome in our village, and you can't have our cook pot. If you would like to eat, we welcome you in the spirit of hospitality to join us for a meal from the cook pot. You are welcome to camp on the beach. But this negotiation is over, and good day. And she turns
I feel
around
like-
and walks away.
I feel like
Okay,
that's a
well-
reasonable response.
Yeah.
Honestly.
More than reasonable response. Okay. Potom, what are you trying to cook up?
Some armor.
Outside.
Yeah, that's fun. Cooking up some armor.
Okay.
Can I ask a reminder
I need to be.
Oh, you do your thing.
If we're going into battle in Pedo, I can't do it from a chair behind a shield. I need to be better shielded.
Okay.
And since this is probably the last town before we confront her, I imagine.
Is it?
Maybe.
Because I think my clarifying question, maybe you guys remember, from here we get on the water, right?
Because it's underwater somewhere.
Yeah,
But-
it was offshore. I think it was. I don't know if it's.
Offshore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we
But is
applied
this
this
the
underwater,
town
yeah.
that we had to come to then get water travel the rest of the way?
Go seaward. Yes,
That was my,
that's my understanding.
okay.
The other thing that we need to at least just have as a contingency, the Minotaurs had Epedo bound by a powerful object.
Uh huh.
And so should probably develop that object just as a contingency plan if it comes down to either entrapping her or defeating her outright.
Do we have a?
Just to make
Well-
sure, this is the time we need to jump into the water to go the rest of the way, right? We need water travel the rest.
That's right.
Supposedly.
Okay.
Yeah, that-
Right,
as far as we
right.
know.
As far as we know.
Says the
Just making
DM. What does he know?
I don't know. Figure it out as I go along.
So I did almost, I had that alternate battery, and I did almost connect it to replace the tome. And I feel pretty confident that I could create something. But again, that would take a little bit of time and some resources. So my goal here in this town is to better fortify myself and come up with that contingency plan for facing Upido, since we are here and in a town.
Makes sense.
I'm gonna say narratively, especially since I have to leave in like a half hour or so. Pando's gonna take this time to go on a walkabout
Okay.
in the town, cause not in the town, but like while we're all in the town, before we go to like fight Upido. Just gonna take a minute with nature and like just
Commune
kind of
with
go
nature.
and commune and figure some things out. Cause again, everything she's learning, every time she learns something new, it's clunky and it's with a lot of errors before she perfects it, and realizing they're this close to Upido, she's gonna go and try spend some time and
Where are we with your attuned thing?
I am not attuned with it right now.
You're not,
I
okay.
had to unattune
For fear of.
for fear of her killing me, us, finding us. And so I can
That was an
attune.
aggressive pour.
I think there's towels right there. So I can reattune, and I think that would be something appropriate to do, like as maybe we're on the water or like heading toward Upido.
Sure.
Just because of the risk with it, I'd hate for it to come down on the town. If that makes sense. But yeah, I definitely think that we're gonna have to do that risk again, because that's our insight into her.
Well, do we walk out a little ways and I say I'll go with you? And we do that just to kind of, because we're gonna have to figure out what we're doing from here.
I don't want to attune yet, because I
Okay.
don't wanna attune while we're in the town.
Sure, well, that's what I was saying. Do we go on a walkabout? Do you and I walk out a little ways?
We can, but I'm saying I don't, in Panda's mind, like she has to go and do, like, she has some things at this level with her nature that I do not understand. And so she has to figure that stuff out, meaning me. And then my thought for attunement was like, once we like get on the boats and are like out of the town, like, cause don't we know where we're headed next? It's like, we had this all mapped out.
So you mean after Quan Shu? Like after you do everything down here in the.
I thought we knew.
I think
like,
it's just offshore at Quan Shu. Wasn't that the,
So the clue you were given
Yeah.
from your research is
There's a
that
weapons.
there's a cache of some kind of power or resources that is believed to be, by those who hunted for it,
Yeah,
somewhere in a reef off the coast of Quan Shu.
so once we get those though, don't we know that she's, the
There's-
last time I attuned, she's like north, right?
Well, there's
But
two
we-
locations actually.
we
There's two.
figured
there
that
were
she
two.
was coming
One in the
down this
mountains.
direction.
To Quan Shu.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
So
maybe.
to recap,
Yeah,
there were two caches that you found clues about.
yeah,
One in the mountains and one in the reef.
yeah.
You
And
chose.
we believe that,
You chose not to head towards the mountains,
Which we thought that's where she was going
maybe
first.
because you
Possibly.
thought she was
Right.
headed there. You
Right.
heard her say she was going to go there first,
Right,
She was much
and
closer.
then you observed her traveling seemingly in that direction.
yeah,
The only question is, in your mind, is you don't know what the time frame is of any of that.
true. So attuning where we are now. So we don't know that we're going north. In my head and in my notes, we were coming here and then we were getting in the water and we were going north.
Oh, I didn't think we were ever going north. I thought we were trying to intercept her.
Here,
Yeah, I don't know if you ever made any.
My understanding is that you were coming here to try to get into the cache,
Yeah.
which you thought she was not at, so that
Right.
you didn't have to face her, rather than going north where you thought you would have an encounter with
and then
Yukido.
we didn't feel like prepared at that point.
Right.
So, okay, so my notes, like the ones that I looked at said we were coming here, we were gaining, I didn't even have weapons, so
We
we
don't
were
even know
getting
what it was. Yeah,
something.
I don't know. I haven't
Yeah.
applied that.
Resources is all, is the.
Exactly,
something
and
like-
that's what
Or
I said, like
stopping
something
her
to
from
help
getting
us.
those resources.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
in the towards the end of the previous war with Yukido,
Right,
it was known that she had stashed away a number of caches of resource that
And
she
then-
accessed during the end of the war when things started to turn,
yes.
but not all were not all were
So
recovered.
we haven't made a decision where we're going from here.
As far as I know,
Okay. Let me check.
I thought we were operating under the assumption also that she was likely coming down here. Like it was the best guess that we could make, so we were going
That-
to intercept her at some point too.
That was also where I was operating off of, was that the
Okay.
cache to the north was already lost to us.
Gotcha.
So going there, we would have been on the back foot, but here, we might be heading
Yeah,
her
head
off.
start.
I guess I just figured that we were heading her off here.
So then so Panda will attune depending on what we decide. If we're staying here, then she will attune. If we are not staying here, there's no reason to put the village at risk.
I'd just like to do a little information gathering in the village too, if there's somebody that I can
Yeah.
just talk to, just about an offshore reef, or if, a couple other questions too. Is there anybody around that looks like someone I could talk to?
yeah, I mean,
Meaning
you're
from the kettle.
Right, not the kettle lady.
Yeah, maybe
She's
we'll
busy.
find someone else.
so. I mean, there's a lot of options, and I would say as the sun fully sets, all of these fishing vessels make landfall, and dozens of fishermen and their
Yeah.
children come, or their older children come pouring off of these fishing villages or vessels, loaded down with nets of
Yeah.
fish, and start unloading them. And a lot of the wives start preparing those fish and cleaning them, and the men have their dinner, and right. So there's a lot of the village, at least the working part of the village, is in this town center for the next several hours. So tell me about the kind of person that Freya would be approaching.
I think I'd like to, I think she's kind of looking around for somebody that might, like a fisherman that might be open and chatty, somebody who looks like they kind of know what they're doing now.
Okay.
Not necessarily,
You're looking for a gossiper.
yeah,
A
no,
local
not a
gossiper.
full gossiper. I'm looking for somebody that's that half gossiper, not somebody that wants to offer too much information or be too helpful, but somebody that might actually know things.
Why don't you give me an insight check?
Okay.
Is there like
Always a big die.
a village like
Ooh,
mayor?
there we go. 20. Natty 20.
Ooh.
Oh, no die. No, easy die necessary.
Nice.
I know it's a small village, but is there like a mayor? Like
Yeah,
a
you've already
leader?
successfully
That
insulted
was
her.
her.
You tried to buy her cookpot.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, we didn't.
Guilt by association.
Right.
I don't know this rock. No.
So
You're welcome.
what can I say? Freya, with a natural 20, I think you sit back and observe for a little while, and fishermen are not troops, but there's some overlap to the culture, I think, of a group of men who go out and do this every single day, and who the survival of the village rests on their shoulders, and there's a camaraderie, and there's a pecking order, just like you've seen in a group of soldiers. And so after a short time, you pick out that there's one guy in particular here. Oh, I should also mention, more than half of this village are Minotaur, but there's much more diversity in this village than you've seen in your most recent journeys. So there's probably 5, 6 tabaxi families. There's a surprising number of humans in this village. So humans, tabaxis, and minotaur are the mix that you run into here. There is a human fisherman that you kind of pick out based on how he's interacting with others and people who are approaching him. He's not the first to the fishing or to the cook pot, but it is notable to you that the head woman of the village brings him a bowl when he comes off of his ship. And his nets are some of the fullest. So kind of pick him out. He's dark and not, it's suntan from
Just
leathery. Yeah. Your best guess is mid-40s, short cropped hair, looks like it's been cut back with a knife. So it's not well kempt, but it's short, very utilitarian. He's got a thick lantern kind of jaw and muscly, wiry muscled, kind of probably
Looks like he's pulled in a lot of nets.
pulled in a lot of nets. He's not particularly tall. No one in the village, no humans in the village are tall, especially compared to the Minotaur. But yeah, bare-chested, tan, probably 5'8", and he's just lounging on a pile of nets, eating his fish stew.
Good evening.
How do you do it?
Would you be willing to entertain
So-
a few questions from a traveler? You look like
curtsies.
yes.
He looks up from his stew and not in an unfriendly way, looks you up and down, just kind of gauging who you are. And he says, we don't see many dragonborn in this part of the world.
I imagine, especially not the cold variety.
No, I imagine you're feeling a bit steamed.
Yeah, I've had time to acclimatize. I just am wondering. We have been traveling and we have been on mission for a long time, and we're seeking out not just for ourselves but for greater good, certain things. And so I'm just wondering if you have any. She'd like to chat him up for a few minutes. She'd like to chat him up in a nice way for a few minutes and just be like, oh, hey, you look like you know what you're talking about and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And tell me about this area a little bit and yada, yada, that sort of thing.
Why don't you just make a straight charisma check?
Okay.
Let's see how chatty you're doing today.
Oh, jeez.
I feel like you should have bonus points for being royalty.
So,
I don't know
Wait,
if
what's
royalty's
it?
all that
Is it-
impressive to him.
no.
I think in certain situations that might be useful.
Oh, wait.
Sorry, who are you?
Sorry,
What is it? What is the...
Princess of where?
Yeah, no, she doesn't brag about that. She doesn't want to get kidnapped again, frankly.
There's some fourth wall breaking.
But
The
I
guy
don't
goes,
know
"I'm
where
the Queen of
what
England."
is the charisma. What is charisma on here? Because I don't have.
That's
a-
just one of
It's
your
just one of the top.
top, so not a skill.
Oh, that's right.
See it?
Yes. Yeah. Oops.
Fuzzy diet.
Just a 5. She's not doing good.
Just a 5.
Fuzzy dyed it.
That's with a +1 too.
So I would say it's
I should have fuzzy dyed it.
it's not a love connection.
Yeah.
He's not rude, but he's not really getting sucked into your
Chattiness.
chattiness. He has a
She's
brief
trying to be genuine though too. She
Yeah.
is.
he has a brief conversation, and I think what there doesn't have to be a high skill check here for this, but he is willing to talk about, like most fishermen are. He's willing to talk about the weather. He's willing to talk about where the best catch is, although he's not giving away any secrets.
All
He's
right.
more just sort of low key bragging.
His scars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how long he's been at this,
Sure.
you know, that kind of thing. He's happy to talk about his boat. So you get a little of that going, but because you're not, I mean, you're just not a fisherman.
Right.
It's hard for you to keep up with the areas of
He's
interest.
had a
That,
long day.
yeah, like he's like, okay. So he kind of politely shuts you down pretty quickly. But what you are able to take away is that there is a part of this reef that they don't fish.
Okay.
And that's the closest thing to a clue I think you can get out of him with a 5.
Okay.
Okay, I like it. Do we know where that part is? Oh, it says the first.
He's not drawing you a map. No, that's what I gave you is what you get with a 5.
Yeah. So
in
could
this
we?
chit chat.
We hire a private charter.
I was just gonna say, are there like private charters to hire around a boat?
The other thing
Maybe like just give it
that could happen
You could
is,
fly around.
well, Pando could turn into a water snake again
Yeah,
and just go look
that's
in
a
the
good
area,
idea.
the area of the reef.
Are you at a level now where you have a swim speed as a beast?
That's a good
I
question.
feel like maybe you hit that, but I don't recall.
Let me triple check. Fly and swim, I always forget, and it's like
How do you look? You do. I don't remember.
But I do know that I was able to be a snake in the water before.
Oh, this one's in Calistoga. Did you go up to Calistoga?
Check.
We went all over the place. We went up on Howell Mountain. We went up to we stayed in Calistoga actually.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you do a mud bath?
why does everyone keep telling me?
Because the Calistoga, because that was the worst spa treatment I've ever had in my
okay,
life.
we did not.
It was, well,
It
was- I thought I was dying.
Oh my gosh.
Speed
Yeah.
at level 4.
Oh yeah, so you're good now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
We
be a
went to Opus
swimmy
One.
a swimmy critter.
okay.
And did their tasting, and the guy there was trying to convince us to do it.
I mean, I'm glad I did it. But it was truly like, I'm not claustrophobic. That was the only time in my life I've ever been
When?
The more he
claustrophobic, when I
talked
did
about
a
it, the less
Calistoga
I
mud
wanted
bath.
to do it.
It was the
He was trying to
hottest
convince
thing.
me.
I
So
thought I was
you'll be
dying. I'm not
completely
kidding.
encased and unable to escape.
It is exactly how it is. Actually,
think I
like
could
it's
do
so
it.
heavy and it's so hot.
He told us that you can't even put your feet on the bottom because that's where the heating element is. So you can't.
Oh yeah, see, mine wasn't quite. So the
is
water
like
came
giving
out.
me
It was the
a
hot
feeling
thermal
about it.
water that came
Oh,
out.
yeah.
So the water was already heated from the thermal baths that they put into the mud. But yeah, I couldn't take it anymore. There was one point because I was like, what if something happens? Like, what if I go under the water? I'll just die.
Right.
Like,
Right.
Because I won't be able to
No,
move.
you have no limbs to help you.
Like, this is what it's like to be encased in quicksand.
No thanks.
That
Yeah.
sounds like
It was,
torture.
but I'm glad I did. But then afterwards, when you go in the cool water, it's like the greatest feeling in the whole world. Like you're so relieved.
I believe
You
it.
know, so you rinse off from all the mud, and then you get into the cool water, and it's just the greatest. And then they'll go and I was glad I did it, but
It's the new version of luxury. Experience deep discomfort and then experience the absence of deep discomfort.
Yeah. That's the other thing too is that I don't know if you guys remember there was this earthquake out there.
yeah.
Did you feel it?
We were underground in Schaumsburg cellars, which is famous. They're
No
famous.
thanks.
No
Which
way.
I don't know if you're familiar, but the famous cellars.
Just so
That's
you know, you
weird.
guys are literally describing. Like I can watch
Horror.
horror movies. Those
Those
have
two
me
things
like
are like-
Yeah.
having a panic attack.
It's actually a really cool winery we went to. It's Schaumsburg. They specialize in sparkling wine, and it's one of the historic wineries there. And we chose it because it's different from the
Sure.
like Cab is King over there. So we went. It was like the first winery we went to. And it was started like in the 1800s, mid 1800s, with a German immigrant who went there and carved out the initial caves because it's actually very soft, chalky
Yeah.
sediment or stone or whatever. So they have like miles of caves.
Sure.
And yeah, and so you can imagine like what this looks like. It's like it's probably the most European looking of the wine
Sure.
cellars in the area. And we were down there doing a tour, and all of a sudden the chandelier starts going like this, and we're like, what the heck is going on? Like that's odd for somewhere how many feet underground. And then it wasn't until after we got cell service, all of a sudden everyone's phone started like going off. So yeah, we actually didn't really know. It wasn't that bad. So
Yeah, that's wild.
it was crazy.
Little Siri alert, you were recently in great danger.
But as a side comment though, if you do go out there, I would
Yeah.
recommend going to it because it's pretty cool
Yeah.
because of how unique the caves are. One thing that happened is because they were old enough to be there during Prohibition.
Yeah.
So they sealed off, the family sealed, it's a different family now obviously, but they sealed off all areas of their own caves with their wine.
Well, that.
And then there's like other areas of the property where there was like caves or stashes, and they are still finding, because then it was closed during Prohibition and then opened up in the 60s,
Okay.
70s, 60s. And they're still finding old caches of like
Wow.
1920s
Cool.
sparkling wine
That's wild.
that no one knew about. Yeah.
The little
Yeah.
road mine underneath. That's
Yeah.
pretty neat.
Yeah. So anyway,
Anyway, sorry, that was
Well, so we've answered one question, which is, can Pando turn into a fish? The answer is yes.
right.
Second, it would not be out of the realm of possibility for you to hire one of these fishermen to take you out on the boat. There's not, again, this is not a tourist town, so there's not like a booth with a sign that says fishing charters here.
Right.
Like you would have to chat someone up.
I
and-
think
right.
and
I
ask
think we're
them.
looking for the gossip now. We're looking for the super charismatic guy now.
I think to get the ball rolling on this, I think Air offers a gold piece for him to take us there.
To the guy that
Yes.
Freya was chatting up.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's looking for results.
Well, make a persuasion check at advantage if you're offering a gold piece, because a gold piece in this town is significant.
Yeah. I'm gonna use the fuzzy die because I know our time is short.
Yeah,
Well,
do
you're
it.
already at advantage. but-
Oh, right. Never mind.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. 21's the first one, and 19. So 21.
Sweet.
Okay, yeah, no problem. His eyes light up as you flash that gold piece. He does the small town bite it move, and it disappears real quick into the pocket of one of his children, who races off towards a home somewhere in the village. Actually, you know what? What he probably does, here's what he really does. He agrees and then hands it back to you and asks for silver.
Oh.
Oh.
Because no one in this village is gonna be able to change a gold piece.
Oh.
So instead he asks you for 10 silver.
And then Air goes, I only have gold.
No. Here, I can change it.
Potom also has a couple of silver pieces.
So does Air, but
Air's
that
just
was the power.
Yeah, so he agrees, and so what he has agreed to be clear, is to take you out on the reef tomorrow, in place of he and his sons fishing.
Right.
What you have not brought up with him is taking you to the place where they don't fish. So if you're gonna bring that up with him, that's something else. What he just agreed to for a gold piece was to put off an entire day of fishing and take you out on the water.
I mean, how much do we tell them? Do we just like push
We're
them while
interested
already
in
out
going.
there?
We'll
Or
just
do we
tell it.
sit in
Just
front
put
of
it out there. We're interested in going to that area.
We
We're
already
willing
sit
to pay.
in that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, if you're gonna bring that up there, your money's gone,
Right.
to be
That's
clear.
okay.
But when you bring that up, he immediately is like, no, that's,
Not the fish.
I agreed to take you out onto the reefs. I'll
Will you
be happy
take
to
us as
show you the
close
reefs.
as
How close can you
possible?
get
Oh
us?
yeah.
How close would
will
you be
you
willing to
take
get
us?
He agrees to take you within 100 yards of the
Oh, okay, that's
That's
fine.
fine.
of
because-
the area where they do not go.
That's reasonably.
fine.
that's
And
reasonably-
at this point, he refers to it as the dark water.
okay.
We will not sail within 100 yards of the dark water.
That's okay, because if he can take us within 100 yards, I can always wild shape and go into the water to actually go and look.
So,
Yeah.
and I also have the potion of water
Yeah,
breathing, which
yeah.
I want to save until we know that we're going to access
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can tell us what's down there. And
Yeah.
um,
I can at least go and look. It's gonna be a special day for that guy. He sees me just whirl into a dolphin and jump on in.
I mean, who knows what these guys have seen? You know,
A mermaid.
kill it.
Bad luck.
This would be good eating. Good eating for the village.
yeah, good eating. We'll throw that in the pot.
Okay, yeah. So you've got that agreement. Spits in his hand, shakes yours, heads off to bed.
The air just immediately just like.
Squirts hand sanitizer.
Anything you'll want to talk about before we wake up?
Once we do discover what is in the water, after we do that, Pando, under supervision, will attune.
So
Once we're like,
Okay.
you know, back on land and
I'm also a really good swimmer in general, so I can just go on top of the water. I
Yeah.
can swim out there with you.
perfect.
Okay.
So we'll
Potham, were you gonna do something tonight?
Yeah. So as the fishermen get back, I think that Potham wants to accomplish two things. First, he's looking for an alternate means to the giant cook pot. So if there is a church that would happen to have a bell inside.
Nope.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
This is a godless country here. We got.
Anyway, so I would like to look around for an alternate means before pressing farther on the cook pot.
Okay.
And then second,
We're just taking it.
I would like
find
to
something in the water. Use this.
look at the quality of the docks and possibly a civil engineering fix that I could do overnight so that it might convince them to give me a cook pot.
All right. Overnight, I think it's gonna be a stretch, but why don't you give me a?
It's the simple improvements that like they were just living with this problem,
Right.
or something that they tried to fix a couple of times and it just didn't take.
Sure. Why don't you give me an intelligence? Give me an investigation check to see if you can discover
21.
some low hanging fruit. 25.
21.
21. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we have to stick within the bounds of reality here, but I think,
Do we though?
I mean, yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
So I think what Potham comes up with that could be executed overnight is less about like engineering and more about a reorganization of the way that these fishing vessels come in and out and unload their catches. Right? So I think Potham looks at it and as he evaluates what he's observed, he's like, it's just very inefficient the way that they come back in whenever they damn well please. There's like a queue that everybody gets in to dump their nets. Then there's time spent counting out certain kinds of fish and sorting them. And I'm sure they've been doing it for a long time this way because it's tradition and blah, blah, blah. But you'd save 15 seconds on average per net if you did it this way. And if it was, so on and on. And I think by the time he's done figuring, he's like, if we just if we numbered all of these slips where the boats go, and if the head woman ordered that they come back in at a specific time instead of whenever they feel like it, and if they did, this.
And we count the fish along the jetty before you dump them off the boat into
Right.
the processing area.
Yeah. So there's like this list. I think what he comes up with is like a manifesto almost. There's like a list of recommendations. And by the time it's all said and done, he calculates
I hate outside consultants.
that this will it'll increase the efficiency of the daily intake by like 17%. It's gonna save time.
good.
It's gonna get the fishermen eating and home faster. It's gonna cut down on accidents, right? Like, and he's very proud of it.
Delay did not depose.
Oh no! Oh no! Yeah, so that's what you come up with during that time. The sad fact is this village does not have any alternative to this cook pot you're looking for. But I guess what I'm curious about is I thought Potom was like able to just make tools out of magic. So like where's
So tools, yes, but I mean resources, no. So the cook pot is the resources. The blacksmith tools are the things that he will use to manipulate that.
Okay, so what Potom's short on is just like raw metal.
Correct.
Got it.
And something that would take the shape to accommodate him inside of it. Like if this, I imagine between seasons, Potom will find that his masterwork armor that he will then take the cook pot off and strap to the exocomp.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have, I mean, it'll be, we're talking about Iron Man Mark 1 right now.
Right.
And in later seasons, we'll have the Mark 7, which will be the masterwork armor, you know.
Yeah.
It'll look beautiful. At the moment, we're just looking for something to be functional to shield himself and up his armor.
Has a mace and a shield that she never used. She's not going to use it. That's not how she fights. That's not how she protects. Can those be used in what he's doing?
I mean, there's a small amount of metal there, but I think what Potom's describing is.
He climbs into the cook pot and it magically forms around him his armor.
I mean, well, he's talking about turning. He is talking about trying to make like a metal enclosure.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So those
that's
would
rock
not
gnome
offer
size.
enough materials.
Probably not.
Okay.
I think what you could probably get away. So as you're dining with the villagers, and if Potom is, he's a persistent guy. He's probably walking around poking at this with people. The read you will get from this, or the only clue I could give you, I guess, from just chit chat is, apart from this big ass cook pot, the only large metal things that this group ever sees are cannons and anchors. And where they see them are in shipwrecks, of which there are a couple out on the reefs, some more significant than others, and in fully operational pirate vessels, because this is where Potom, you hear about a group out here. Where did I talk about them? In here? So many separate places for notes now. Oh yeah, a group called the Zenith Fleet.
Okay.
So the Zenith Fleet, as you all are talking with various folks, is essentially like a fairly well organized pirate alliance that operates along the glowing coast. There are three sort of primary leaders called the Triad who lead the Zenith Fleet. And this village has a basically like a protection racket relationship with the Zenith Fleet. They're not offended by it. Like they describe it as a fairly light touch. But what happens is, like, roughly once a month, a ship from the Zenith Fleet drops anchor outside of the reef, and some people row in and they collect some supplies, mostly foodstuffs, and then they head out. And those ships vary in size, but many of those ships are frigate size, which is probably the largest ship they see, and have pretty significant siege weapons on them. I said cannons earlier, but there are no cannons in this world right now.
Scorpions or something. Large crossbows,
Big crossbows, ballistae,
Catapults,
anchors, things
that
like
sort
that.
of thing.
Yeah.
What is the Empire's relationship with this situation? Are they don't care? Are they actively trying to fight it? Is it just so beyond their sphere of influence? Or
So the vibe you get is that the village really doesn't hear from the Empire. an envoy from the Empire hasn't been seen here in
A long time.
in some people's lifetime.
Okay.
They know that technically
They
they
exist. Yeah.
are vassals of the Empire, but it doesn't affect them in any way.
Do they pay
What
any
ab-
kind of taxes or
Nope.
something? Or,
What about the Minotaur Empire, whatever the Minotaur settlement?
Yeah, is this like the Wild West, or is there any kind of local authority we can, other than the town
The head
itself?
woman,
Yeah.
so what this is very much reminiscent of is it is sort of that Wild West situation where
Is there like a garrison
you
somewhere?
roll into town and like the local gang runs this,
Right.
or the local gang is the authority. They're just not around much because they don't actually give a crap about this town, right? So they come by every once in a while. They roll into town. They take what they want. They leave. But this is actually even a friendlier situation because these people do not seem resentful of the pirates.
It is what it is.
Yeah, like they don't have much and the pirates don't take much.
Yeah.
So
and I wonder if
they're
you
kinda
know,
fine
they
with it.
all. Yeah, and I wonder if the line between fisherman and pirate is maybe blurred.
it could be.
So their closest friends, family, or
You know-
pirates, and vice versa.
You know, my friends, I imagine that these are the people that would sail those black waters.
Yeah, maybe.
They could get us right over the spot.
Mm. Maybe.
I don't think it's a need though, because if we can get within 100 yards and Freya and I
Depends
can
on how
just
big
go
it
into
is.
the water.
Right. How are we going to get it back? I mean, what if the cache is large? I mean, wouldn't it be nice to have a ship that is right over the top of it?
Would you be concerned about the pirates claiming it for themselves?
I would.
No,
Yeah,
I think
pirates
that
everywhere.
I think that we could strike a deal with the pirates. This is ours, but we'll pay them handsomely some other way. And ultimately, that's just a problem for down the road. That's not even a problem because we'll just best them.
Well, let's go explore and then definitely keep that in mind here.
All right. Very good.
Scouting mission first.
Yeah.
So the next morning, the village is up before dawn. The fishermen are down at the docks preparing. And when you all head down there, you could probably guess what's for breakfast. It's
Fish heads.
fish.
Do you like fish?
And I think it's served with a cold salad that includes some local fruits.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
And probably seaweed.
Seaweed,
Yeah,
I
so
would
like it's almost like fruit sushi.
Oh, okay.
I think it's kind of the vibe. So there's some coconut and
mango.
melons and mangoes, and it's wrapped tightly in.
What's the local
Seaweed?
carp? Are they a rice people? Are they a grain people?
I think it's a roots
Roots?
situation, like
Mash
a
or
yuca,
mash.
or like a purple sweet potato
This
kind of
sounds great.
a vibe. Yeah, it's not a bad.
No,
It's not a
I'm
bad
not mad
situation.
about it.
They all look very healthy. They all.
Right.
Yes, incredibly healthy.
They do.
Their skin is fantastic.
So the fisherman and his sons, probably most of his sons stay behind because he's not planning to fish today, so he's just taking you out. You step out onto this craft. It's surprisingly stable. Again, it's like a broad, flat boat, so it almost feels like a log raft kind of a vibe, but it doesn't. It's very comfortable. It's a very comfortable sail. And you drift out into the reef. It's beautiful. So as the sun is rising, the water turns this spectacular blue color. And maybe 30 minutes into the ride, you got to roll.
I have to roll. I have our 2 different family Christmases. Pando is cool morphing into a dolphin. Pando is cool at tuning with supervision.
Okay, and I'll I guess I'll be some eyes down in the water too.
And then also, I put Monday on the calendar, Monday the 20th for a play. Does that work?
Monday the 20th. Oh, you
Yeah.
mean
In
in
the evening.
January?
Yeah.
Yeah, for when Alex is in town. And I only
Yes.
asked because I'm gonna fly to Florida either most likely that weekend before, and I'll come back Sunday if we're doing Monday.
We can do Wednesday if you want. It's work better for you.
No, I'm just surprising my friend for her birthday. So it's just
think-
a little weekend thing anyway.
So unfortunately, Monday does not work for me because I'll be driving back that night from the UP.
Oh, okay.
I'm training up there, so there's no way I'd get back in time.
No worries.
for an
I mean,
evening
I
session.
had that Wednesday too. I just
The
didn't know.
22nd.
I'm fine with 22nd.
The 22nd is fine for me.
Does that work for you, my dear?
Yeah, my work schedule isn't out that week yet, but
Okay.
it should be fine. I mean, the latest that I'll be working is probably till 5:30.
Okay.
So
I'll just make a note then. I don't want to.
I kind of have my fingers crossed that I'm off that day still too. So we'll see.
5:30 is actually really good anyway because I'll be training in that room until 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And so then I can just
Be here.
close it,
Yeah.
pop right out here, set up, and
Cool.
we can play at 5:30. That
Yeah,
can
yeah,
work
yeah.
well.
So, yeah, so
Yeah.
just say 5.
Good.
at
I'm just.
22nd.
We're buying our
5:30,
tickets,
yeah.
so perfect.
Okay. See ya.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye. Have
I may
fun.
just be
Bye,
a little
Courtney.
bit late, but yeah, I'm still hoping that I'll be off.
Okay, let me just get everybody added to this quick then, so that we don't
And Alex, you can just arrange your
forget.
Fox Valley days. We'll figure it out.
That'll just mean Thursday, Friday for the Fox Cities.
Mhm.
So
All right. Nerd Church established. Good.
Yeah, in general, Wednesdays are a good night for me in general. Just going forward. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Wednesdays work fine for me too. It's only Thursdays that have an issue. Every other
Okay.
day is open.
Can I have some of those churro chips?
They're really good.
They're really tasty.
I'd like to try them.
There's Mercs and plenty of Ritz crackers too here, guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
so as you sort of gently float out into the water, the reef itself doesn't really begin until a good half mile off the coast. And so there's a short sail, and then you suddenly see like an explosion of color beneath the waves around you. The reef is spectacular. And, you know, so as you, in the real world equivalent, as you picture like Great Barrier Reef vibes, this is that if also magic was a thing, right?
And definitely not affected by global climate change.
No, definitely living its best life down there. Vibrant colors, crazy dense schools of fish moving around. As you peer beneath the surface, you see kind of big fat eels moving around. You see the dark shapes of sharks moving in and out in different places. It is beautiful and very wild. I think Pando immediately has a semi-religious experience out there as she is connecting to another one of these focuses of wild energy.
So you're saying she sees a shark? How big of a shark does she see?
It's hard
and
to
a cool
tell.
one, like a hammerhead, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell from here.
Tiger shark.
That's lovely. And the early morning sun is gorgeous, and as you continue to sail, the fisherman starts to loosen up. It's clear he thinks of this as kind of like a vacation day. He's like on PTO out here. And he's just sort of chatting and talking about the history of the village and his family and that sort of thing. And as time rolls on, you're on the water for probably a good hour and a half, 2 hours, when he kind of turns and points off into the distance to the west, and he says, the dark water lies that way. Are you ready, or do you wish to cruise for a bit?
I mean, we came out here to do this. So.
We came out here to
Ready.
do this. Let's do this.
Okay. Are you Do you swim? Are you just going to look at it?
Standard.
Or what
We're
is?
trying to see, like, how big, can we gauge how big it is?
Sure.
Football field, city block. What's
Or too big to tell, or like,
or
So he tries to give you a sense of it. And again, I'll just use modern equivalents, but
how much acreage?
it's probably the footprint of a it's probably the footprint of like a football stadium.
Okay.
Okay.
So you could see to the other side of it.
okay, this
Yeah.
is, okay.
So like it
Oh,
is
very doable.
Yeah, it's an
Totally
area that all the fishing vessels work around. It's almost like a zone inside the reef that they just avoid.
Okay, so Freya actually drops all of everything that, like, I except for Kimba's talon. I'm gonna keep Kimba's talon strapped to me, but otherwise, I just am gonna drop all the rest of my equipment and, you know, my 12 javelins and my thing. I got so much stuff, and I'm like, oh, I swim, and I just kind of dive into the water.
Strip down your skivvies.
Yeah.
This is actually kind of an interesting question about mechanics. Like, can characters just without a swimsuit swim in some kind of limited way?
Yes. So
Is there like doggy
Did you say without a swimsuit?
if they don't have a swimsuit, then they can't.
Yep. No. I don't know how we would do that.
I know that we've technically, I think Dragonborn don't have tails, but we've talked about how Freya has a big alligator tail before, and so her
So-
tail just.
A character that does not have a swim speed, if you don't literally have a swim speed on your character sheet, which like certain races
majority,
do, like if you're
yeah,
a sea
don't.
elf or whatever, you would. But if you don't have a swim speed, underwater movement is half
Oh, okay.
of your normal
So you can still
movement.
swim.
Yep. Also, it's good for everybody to know that when you're making a melee weapon attack, if you don't have a swim speed, it is at disadvantage unless that weapon is essentially a piercing weapon. So
Harpoon.
dagger, javelin, short sword, spear, trident, those
Oh.
sorts of weapons do not experience that disadvantage. Ranged weapon attacks underwater automatically miss if they're outside of their first level functional range. So if you look at like your light crossbow, let's say, there's two range numbers. It's like 30 and 150 or
80 and
something like that.
320.
Okay, yeah. So
Because I have it right here.
that second range is irrelevant underwater.
Yeah.
It's just an automatic miss. And in normal range, many of them suffer disadvantage. So crossbows do not suffer disadvantage. Nets and javelins, spears, etc., tridents, darts, do not suffer disadvantage. So there are a number of combat disadvantages. And then obviously everybody's got resistance to fire damage when you're underwater. Not immunity, but resistance to fire damage.
Okay, I'm going to take my dagger with me then. Also, taking my dagger and that's just attached to my leg, and I'll.
Well, and you can take your javelin.
I'll take a javelin,
There's no
yeah.
disadvantage to that.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And then we'll have to talk about breathing underwater, except if you're using the potion.
So I've dipped all my javelins in either ghoul finger poison or spider poison. Does the poison get washed off when it's in the water?
No, I'm going to say once it's treated, we're not going to do that. I won't penalize you for that.
Okay, I'll take all of my javelins.
Just hand wave that.
Yeah, it's fine. They have a little. You put a little wax cap on each
Yeah.
on each javelin tip. That is fine with me.
Okay. I gotta figure a way to. Okay.
I also feel like that was a Potom mansplaining as they were treating each weapon. He's like, if you put a wax cap on here, then it's good forever.
Okay. Okay. I thought that was it. That was handy. That was some handy talking. that time. Okay, so is Panda just going to magnificently morph into a dolphin and jump into the water without warning?
For sure she is.
That'd be awesome.
So,
I want to know what our, do we have a name for our fisherman?
yeah, good question. I think his name is Kieran.
Kieran, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me actually write that down so I don't forget.
I want to know what Kieran does when he sees. Like, so what do you guys do? Do you swim or something? Oh yeah, we swim.
Oh yeah, we swim.
Oh, we swim.
Kieran. Okay. So, he takes you as close as he's willing. Pando and Freya leap off the side. Pando transforming into a dolphin. Freya swimming with her tail alligator styling, propelling her along through the water. The other two are staying on the boat.
Yeah, Potom
Yeah.
will. I guess, yeah, Potom is, would be pretty useless in the water.
Yeah, in case we have to perform some kind of rescue or.
Okay.
I think that. It's 100 yards. I only have 50 yards of rope. Never mind. I was going to put a tie off on Freya, just in case.
I'm sorry. What did you do?
He wanted to put a rope
I
on.
was gonna tie you off just to be safe, but if it's over 100 yards, I don't have that much rope.
Yeah. I'm not worried.
All right, so what I'm going to ask is Freya, and I'll do it for Pando. I would like you to make a perception check as you get in there.
Come on. 7.
7.
I'm up on the surface. I can't see too well. We're going to depend on Pando to make a really good roll.
A lot of
You could roll for her at advantage.
Yeah,
Come on.
remember one? Just perception.
This is a perception check.
Okay.
Does she have?
Yeah, you want to
anything-
fuzzy dice it?
Yeah.
Does she have any modifiers?
Let's see. Pando. Her perception is, it's +8.
Oh wow.
So she may or may not need this advantage, but go for it. See how the fuzzy dice treats you.
3.
So
3's not great.
not great.
Oh,
15.
Yeah.
Okay.
23.
Well, turns out that 23 is really good news for you because
Thank God.
Freya, you up on the surface don't spot this, but Pando, as a dolphin down beneath the surface, cruising along, catches something while it's still pretty far out. And what she catches, what she spots, right about the time you're entering this dark water. Well, first let me describe. You swim for about 100 yards, and as you pass into this zone, it's not like a sharp line separates this, but in a space of 10 yards, you notice a change. First of all, the colorful reef falls off quickly, and what you see below you is almost sterile looking sand. There are some things littering the bottom of the ocean here, and it's still relatively shallow. So to be clear, nothing nothing you've traveled over or seen so far, you would estimate is deeper than 30, 40 feet. So you can see the bottom clearly. It's
Yeah.
bright, beautiful blue water, all that. But basically, what they call the dark water isn't literally dark, at least in the area where you can see. But what it is the reef basically stops here, and everything afterwards is dead. So what is littered on the ground in this area of ocean, other than just blank sand, there are like starfish and bits of coral and things like that, but none of it is alive. What Pando spots right around the time you're progressing into this area, so you're probably 120 or so yards away from the boat at this point, is off in the distance, maybe another 100 yards out ahead in this very clear water. Pando sees the shape of a shark, but it is massive,
Okay.
like really big. Not like, ooh, that's a big shark. It's
Yeah.
not great white big, like whale big.
Okay. Is it like the creature?
And it's
we-
moving
Like Megatron shark or whatever.
megalodon big. Yeah.
Megalodon.
And it's moving fast. It's not like slowly drifting along. Like it's cutting through the water.
Is it as big as
out there
that?
at a
Is it
distance.
like that creature we saw on the boat previously? How long ago?
That creature was much bigger.
Oh, even bigger. Okay.
That shadow, I'll say,
That shadow,
was
right,
much
right.
bigger, whatever that was. And darting around that very large shark are smaller shadows and shapes.
Air's very happy she did not go in the water.
Now, I'm going to say Pando doesn't have a great way to communicate this. So I imagine what Pando does, if I'm going to sort of autopilot her a little bit, is that when she sees this, she would come back to you, Freya, and start like
Gesticulating
flipper style.
wildly.
Like, yeah, she's like poking at you with her bottle nose and like slapping at you with her fins. And she's basically like herding you back away, back towards the boat. She can't say, hey, there's a shark, and you
I'm
didn't
like, okay,
see it.
cool.
So she's pushing you away from some kind of danger, trying to
Okay.
hustle you back to the boat.
Okay.
Uh,
I go.
All right, so without a whole lot of trouble, you get back to the boat. Pando does need to get out in order to communicate with you all, so she does burn one of her wild shapes to do this. But then, as she's hanging on the side of the boat, she calls up to all of you. She's like, "Big shark, big,
Like the biggest shark
big
anyone
shark.
has ever seen, ever.
And probably not just one shark. There's some danger, like."
Other sharks, yeah.
Big,
Other
big time danger over there. So we need to, if we're going in, we need to go in prepared.
Okay. Okay. So what do you guys think? I also have the specialty potion of animal friendship.
Oh,
I can make friends with the shark. I could try try making friends with the shark and breathing underwater. I mean, it's not a terrible idea.
I've heard worse ideas.
That would be epic.
With
I-
a giant shark on your side.
I think that we should. Could she see like any entrance to anything or
Yeah,
any
anything-
kind of
anything
like
overt,
other
something
structures down there or
conspicuous.
anything like that? Anything that would.
So Pando only got about 20 yards into this
Right.
zone. And at a pretty significant distance away, she saw this big terrifying shadow and she was like, I'm out. So
Yeah.
she did zero investigation. What she saw was like a dead zone and then a threat. That's about all the
Okay.
information you have. So if you're gonna, what it comes down to is you're gonna need to go explore this area if you hope to find anything. But you now know there are significant threats if you go exploring.
Right.
All right, I guess we're gonna. So, did you have any plan, Padam? As far as like, I know you had said that maybe you could rig up some kind of underwater breathing something, or Can you make a
can-
little
yeah.
submersible type
Yeah, like
of
a
deal? or-
Nautilus situation.
Yeah.
Interesting.
20,000 leagues. under.
Submarine of sorts.
Yeah, submarine of sorts.
Well, first off, you would have to make it airtight so that a person could go inside, but that would limit the amount of air. Unless we had a hose hooked up to the top, but that would make it vulnerable to attack. I think that Bottom goes into his said mind palace to think this sort of thing out. Can I roll like an investigation check on how to make a submarine
Yeah, go ahead.
or an intelligence check?
Yeah, make just an intelligence check. I think it's just this pure speculative. Let's
Well,
brainstorm.
we need a giant cook pot. 11.
Okay. Yeah, I think while Potham does have a lot of interesting ideas for how you could pull this off, within the restrictions of the materials available, he's coming up pretty short here. But the good news is that while you all are having this speculative conversation on the deck of the fishing boat, Kieran starts just sort of low chuckling under his breath. And then after he lets you cook for a while on this idea, he pipes up and he says, you'll excuse me, but this is a very northerner conversation. You clearly don't spend a lot of time on the water. If you're concerned about breathing underwater, you just have to ask the witching woman. None of us come out on the waters without a safety plan.
Oh, okay.
Or we would lose half of our young men every time the weather turned. And he opens a satchel on his on the side of his boat that's like attached to the rail, and inside there are three little like glass, or they're like pottery, but like ceramic vials basically, and he sort of shakes them around, and you realize very quickly they're potions of water breathing, which are apparently readily available
Dime a dozen. apparently, yeah.
in this town. Not free,
Go figure.
not free by any means, but available,
Oh,
because
how long do they
need
last?
them. They give you an hour.
Okay,
That was a long time.
just like the one that I have.
Yeah, it takes
Okay.
care of you for an hour. The witching woman, he goes on to tell you, can also do a ritual in which she casts the spell water breathing on you, and it can affect a group, and it lasts 8 hours.
Oh, well,
Well, that's clearly what we want.
That's clearly what we need to do. Thank you very much, Kieran. Could you point her out to us? We head back and you can point her out to us?
Sure. Yeah. So he'll if you pile on board, he'll head back to the mainland. Let me just update the Upido counter, and that's
Because we have, okay, I'm just thinking, like, if we're trying to carry things back up, we have the bag of holding, right? Like, how, we could put a bunch of stuff in the bag of holding.
yeah, we don't even know what we're pulling out.
I know, we don't.
And on our way back, we could just get maybe Pando to wild shape again. Since we're on our way back to the village and we're pretty satisfied that we'll get a long rest in, is there a chance that Pando could go back down and look for those raw resources that we were talking about?
yeah. I mean, Pando can.
Shipwreck? Outside of the black zone, of course.
Sure. So, I mean, two things. Kieran can show you shipwrecks if you
Great.
ask him. Like, he knows you chartered him for the day. and it's like not even lunchtime yet.
Easiest money he's ever made.
Yeah. So he's got no problem to like tootle around on the reef anywhere you please. And then, Pando still has one wild shape left, and can get him back on a short rest, so that's very easy as well. So if you want to spend the second half of the day, so to speak, looking for shipwrecks or investigating shipwrecks, that's very doable.
Yes, that I think would be
And now that I
great.
know that I can just get another potion of breathing, I can just use my potion of breathing and go down with her.
Yeah,
Precious
I-
with it.
I also think
Not
that
free.
during this time, that Potom is talking to Kieran about his plan for the incoming of fishing vessels, and
Okay.
just talking about the advantages of the plan itself, just establishing the windows of time to come back in, and then talking about the benefits of having more time with the family and whatnot.
Okay, yeah, I dig it. Okay, so a couple things. First, there are two shipwrecks of significance around this reef, on the edges of this reef. One is very old. It is, nobody's explored it in great depth. No, nobody has explored either of these in any great depth. The fishermen have very little interest in salvage, but they can see a lot. Like I said, this is relatively shallow water. So the one is older, and as such, the most broken down. It is believed to be an old merchant vessel, probably Elven, from nearly pre-Empire days, or at least the Empire in its current state, pre-vassal state days. It has been deteriorated so greatly that it is fully beneath the surface. No part of this shipwreck pokes out. But there is a very obvious visible anchor down there. So there is visible significant metal sitting down there, but the wreck itself would need to be explored firsthand to see if there's anything else of use in there. The second shipwreck is more modern, and this is probably, I think Kieran actually can tell you it's been out there about 8-9 years, because he was alive when it happened and living in the village when it happened. And this is actually one of the first pirate vessels that visited the village, or that tried to visit the village, and was captained by an captain inexperienced to these waters, who ran aground on the reef and then made what all the villagers agree was a very irrational decision, to essentially reverse sail and try to back out of this situation instead of going to the village and asking for help and whatnot, or waiting for a change in the tide. Tore a giant hole in the front of the vessel, in front of the hull. And so this ship is almost more like 3/4 of it are submerged, but it's the bow, the front, the bow.
Yeah.
The bow, the tip of the bow is still poking out over the waves, and one of the masts is still coming out of the water at an angle. The sails and tack and all that have long since been stripped away. Some salvage has been removed from this vessel because it's fairly easy to access. But he tells you that deeper in the water, there's quite a bit of metal and machinery and things of that nature. There is siege equipment that was on this pirate vessel, but nobody in the village cares much for any of that, so they didn't bother to go diving for it.
So this has been plundered already. People have gone diving for stuff.
Some of it, yeah.
Okay.
I would say like to the extent of maybe 15 feet down, what is submerged, like people who could just do it with on a free dive, you know, villagers poking around in there, they probably have pulled out, when it very first happened, he describes them pulling out like chests of clothing or casks of food or fresh water or things like that. Many of the sailors survived and were rescued by the villagers, and in fact, some became villagers. And this is what sort of started the tentatively friendly relationship with the Zenith fleet. The captain himself was keelhauled by the Triad for scuttling a vessel that belonged to the fleet. But anyway, all that is to say, what lies deeper in that ship is largely untouched by the villagers. So like the captain's quarters have not been explored. The deeper parts of the hold have not been explored. And there's things on the deck like ballista that have not been.
I think at this point, Potom has definitely caught Air's eye.
Okay.
Kind of gives a wink and is like, well, Kieran, I understand that you don't want to completely deplete your supply of those potions there, but what if I give you 5 silver for 2 of them?
So 5 silver for 2 of these potions is a price he immediately starts laughing at. So even though the economy of this village, as we've discussed, is the way that it is, people know the value of these magical items, and they're very costly for the village to produce. So his immediate reaction is just to say, I can't sell these to you. You have to talk. This is all my family has, and we need them. They keep my son and I safe. I don't get more essentially until next year. He's like, so if you want these, you need to negotiate with the witching woman.
Well, I mean, just have
I understand. What if I guess what would it cost to replace those for you? Like when we get back and I talk to the witchy woman, I would be happy to replace what you have right now.
So he's not even confident the witching woman would give you anything. He's not willing to risk the 3 potions that he has for the year on you all.
Okay, well, let's have a.
Okay, well, I guess that just leaves, and he turns to Freya. He goes, "That just leaves you and Pando." But I think that there is probably more than what I'm looking for in that ship.
Do you want us to just go down? Because I can just swim down even without a potion for using the breathing potion. Just tie a rope to the anchor that's down there. Is it?
I'm not.
Pull it
I'm
up?
not just looking. I'm not just looking for the anchor. At this point, there's an entire ship full of resources that we could pull up, and I mean, return some to the village. But I mean, there's stuff there that it's a pirate ship. It's a largely unsearched pirate ship.
Okay.
And Potom, maybe from hanging out with Air too long, has caught the itch to recover some treasure.
All right. Well, can you loan me your bag of holding, and I'll just take.
For sure.
I'll take.
And also, I think that you and Pando should take this rope down so that you could tie off larger items that Air and I can pull up from here.
Okay. Alrighty, I have a rope too. I'll bring down my rope also.
Perfect. That's gonna be awesome.
Okay, I'll
All right,
take,
so you're headed to the.
I guess I'm taking
pirate
my
ship.
breathing potion. Hope we don't regret this.
It's completely empty.
Before they leave, I am going to cast Sanctuary twice, one on Pando and one on Freya. And so any enemy will, if they run into an enemy down there, will need to make a wisdom check before they can attack either of them.
Okay.
Boop. Buffed.
Buffed.
Okay,
Nice.
let's go on down.
Look for sparkly things.
Investigation check.
All right. So
One last thing. Sorry.
I'm taking it.
One last thing before.
I don't think I'll be able to put up with him if I don't.
We're also looking for if I need to create a battery to hold Yupido, we're looking for something precious, like a precious metal. Maybe in the captain's hold, he's got a lantern on his desk that
I still have
is
a gem.
ornate.
Can you use a gem?
Well, we can use the gem, but we got to make a cage. We got to make a housing unit for it.
Okay.
So, extra shiny metals.
Alrighty. Okay. Sounds good. We'll dive on down.
okay. Well, if you're using that potion and Pando's wild shaping, then we don't have to worry about underwater holding your breath or anything like that. So that makes this
And we got an hour.
fairly easy. So you've got an hour to investigate. Why don't you make an investigation check at advantage? So Panda will take the help action to support your search.
16 and 16.
Okay. So with a 16, you and Pando spend 45 minutes exploring first the exterior and then the interior of this ship. As I already described, some of it, which is like the nearest easy to reach section, has been stripped relatively clean. But you identify several things, and you can tell me what you prioritize or how much time you invest in this. So there are some what appear to be like general crew quarters deeper in the vessel that have not been looked into yet, and so this is like bunks sort of a setup. And in there are a couple of like sea chests that are filled with
Seawater.
seawater, definitely. Soaked clothing, some personal effects, small coins, things
A
like
few
that.
small coins,
Yeah.
throw in the small coins.
Maybe a couple of scimitars, things like that. Nothing of what you would consider to be substantial.
We're going
value.
quick over this part.
Yeah. At the end of that same hallway, though, is a more robust door with a lock on it, which seems obviously the captain's quarters. The lock is not functional, so you're able to, with a sharp kick, open the door, which has not fully rotted away at this point, but all the wood in here is more fragile. The hinges are not holding. And in the captain's quarters, again, much has been rotted away, but it's clearly a nicer setup in here, not lavish, but with a short kind of poke around, you discover a lockbox built into the wall, built into the back wall of this cabin. You could try to force the lock. This is a metal lockbox with a metal lock. It's still in decent shape, but it's built into the cabin of the wall. So either you can try to force the lock, or you could get somebody else down here to try to pick it or something like that, but you don't have a lot of...
I could rage. I could rage and then I could force the lock.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
So,
rage, force the lock.
all right, so give me a strength check at advantage.
You have to back up 10 feet to rush it.
Sprint towards it at half speed because you're underwater.
15 or, 15.
Yeah, 15's enough. So you you jam the edges of one of your weapons in there, maybe the tip of a javelin, and using some leverage, you give it a swift tug, and the lock bends and then eventually snaps off. And you open up the lockbox. Inside, you find a collection of coins and a few small gems. So in total, it's a mix of gold and silver, and then one pretty good sized blue quartz gem polished up. And so in total, that value comes out to, let's call it 125 gold pieces.
Okay.
Which we're just gonna say this is pure currency, so you don't have to enter it all separately.
Okay. Just put in 100.
You can just say 125 gold pieces.
Fungible currency.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
There is also sitting in here in that lockbox, a single hand crossbow with a small pouch of quarrels, darts, and interestingly, that hand crossbow appears to be untouched by the weathering that the ocean water has created for everything else.
I'm sorry, what is it?
A hand crossbow.
A hand crossbow.
Yeah, so a hand crossbow is
Yeah.
little, maybe
Okay.
this
Great.
big. It's like the pistol equivalent of a crossbow.
Okay.
As Pando is sort of searching the exterior and the lower hold, she finds a couple things that may be of value to Potom and what he was describing. So first of all, there are two significant anchors here that all told each probably account for, each one's probably 100 pounds of iron,
Perfect.
just raw iron. Along with the chain that they're attached to. So it would take some doing to get them out of the water, but with some work, you could get both of those back onto Kieran's boat and back to shore. It would take you the rest of the day to harvest some of this stuff. It would be your investment. The other thing that you can salvage from is there are two ballista on the deck of the ship, and the wooden components of these ballista and the string and all that are waterlogged and falling apart, but there's a significant amount of scrap metal here that could be removed. So like the bow itself, it's made of a heavy band of iron. There are gears and components for turning and aiming them. These are big, heavy ballista. So there's a lot of raw material there. Again, takes some strength to disassemble those. Freya probably has to get in there and yank and hack at stuff a little bit, but you can take those pieces apart. And then last but not least, in the hold itself, there are, in the deepest parts of the hold, there's held together in a big piece of rope net that is not totally degraded away. 4 probably pony keg size casks that are sealed up with wax. You can't tell what the markings are. The markings have faded away. There used to be some kind of paper label on them, but that's long gone. But they're each probably the size of, well, like a pony keg. Right?
Could I put them into the bag of holding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
each
just
one
put- I'll
at a
put
time.
those.
You can fit them in there.
Yeah, I'll stick
Great.
in there with a bunch of seawater, I guess, too. The bag of holding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
what happens when you open the bag of holding?
I
It's
know,
like
that's
all
what I was
the
sort of
ocean
thinking.
parts
I was
into
just
it.
kind of like,
Definitely water starts getting sucked into
no,
the
I turn
bag
it
of holding.
upside down and I open it and I put them in
Oh,
that
That's
way.
pretty smart. Pretty smart.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
All right. So only a small amount of seawater.
Okay, small amount of seawater.
genius.
Okay, yeah, we'll grab those pony kegs, and then I'm gonna work on. I guess I can work on some of the metal on the ballista, if you need.
Perfect.
me to
Yeah.
solve the
Let's
case, I can.
in the time that we have left, let's just grab as much of that as we can.
Yeah. Okay, I can.
Yeah. So I would say the limiting factor ends up becoming just the capacity of Kieran's vessel.
Okay.
So you get you get you get a significant amount of scrap iron out of this harvest, and we can talk
And the
about what the
anchors.
actual need is there, Potom. But at a certain point, Kieran sort of waves you off and
He's
is
like,
like,
"Guys,
don't bring any
done.
more
We're
back because we have to be able to make it back to shore."
I think that Potom is also, as the pieces are coming up, he's arranging them on the deck so that everything balances
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
efficiently. But I also agrees with Kieran's assessment that we're probably at capacity.
Okay. Alrighty. Let's head back then.
All right, so you head back in to shore, still coming back in before most of the other boats because they don't head back until the sun is setting. But you come back in and Kieran recruits two of his boys to come help you unload a bunch of this metal, and yeah, you settle onto the shore.
And I do want to give Kieran the equivalent of 10 gold pieces.
Oh,
I think that we should do that.
out of the hoard.
Out of the hoard that we had, that we just brought in.
Sure.
Okay, say, here,
Eric goes
this
like,
is your,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Finder's fee.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, he's delighted by that, and then is
It's just great.
Thank you.
very enthusiastically helping you to unload and get things settled, and marches you over to the witching woman directly and makes a very friendly introduction to her. The witching woman is surprisingly young in this village. I think in your mind, some of you were expecting like a withered crone. But she's probably in her early 20s.
Oh, okay.
And lives in a thatched hut or a palm roofed hut fairly near the village center. And it becomes obvious as you walk in why that's the case, because you see she is stitching up a long but shallow cut on the arm of one of the fishermen. So it seems like her hut is probably like the first aid station,
Sure.
so to speak. And she's positioned close to handle injuries to the fishermen. And as you enter, she looks up. She has very distinctive purple eyes and a slight point to each ear and sort of dusky skin. And you catch very quickly that she probably has some drow ancestry.
Yeah.
You're not sure what the blend is, but there's some drow in there for certain. And she introduces herself, or as you walk in, she looks up and recognizes strangers. She finishes before she acknowledges you directly, or before she starts a conversation with you. She finishes the work that she's doing on this man's arm, gives him a little something to drink in a small wooden bowl, and then lays him down on a cot. He falls very rapidly asleep, and then she comes back to talk to you. And she says, "Greetings, travelers. I am Luna Stara. I'm what the locals refer to as the witching woman."
Just embrace the
Yeah.
Yeah.
the title.
I'm the witch.
You may call me Lune if you prefer. Kieran was very enthusiastic in his introduction of you. I could smell the avarice on him, so clearly you paid him well. But perhaps I could be of service to you in some way. Do you have an injured comrade or some need of me?
No, we're looking for the ability to. We would like to have some breathing time underwater.
Yeah.
I see. You
In
plan
exchange
to
for fair compensation, of course.
Of course, of course. So you plan to explore the reef then?
Somewhat. Sure.
Possibly.
We are looking. We do have some interest in the dark area.
Ah, that is, well, the risk is yours to take.
Shouldn't change anything from your perspective, though.
Yeah.
No, and I can also tell you, at least if my mentor told true, that you would not be the first treasure hunters to come through Quan Shu in search of riches or power and to spend time in that area.
What do you know of the treasure down there? Is there treasure?
I know nothing but rumors. Those stories are much older than me, but tales used to tell of vast sums of gold, magical artifacts, terrifying powers. The list runs on and on. A gate to the hells. You know how these things go.
Claire's just sweating within. She just wants. She's
Yeah.
so excited.
The stories grow
About right,
grander
gate to
as
hell.
Yeah.
Seems about right.
the stories go grander as time progresses. But what I can tell you is this village has no record of any treasure hunter who departed into the dark waters returning.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we've heard that before. We've been there.
Done there, done that.
Been there, done that.
It's the whole group of you then?
Yeah, well, we're
Yeah,
just kind
the
of
four of
looking to see how much it would be for a group, versus individual potions. There may be an interest in some individual potions as well.
Well, the potions are made with material that's very difficult to obtain, and they are extremely precious to the fishermen of this village as they keep them alive when things go poorly. It's hard for us to part with potions. I do, however, have some small magical talent and could complete a ritual that would imbue you with the ability to breathe beneath the waves for the length of a working day or so, roughly 8-9 hours. And I would be happy to do that for you. However, the investment of the ritual is significant as it takes me away from serving the village for a night and a day, as I must prepare to do so. When is it that you're looking to depart?
Bottom, how long do you need?
Tomorrow. First thing tomorrow.
For myself, no, I mean, if this is going to take a couple of days,
Oh, okay.
I might as well build the armor. So let's say 2 days, but then also, yeah, let's say 2 days.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys are gonna hang out for 2 days before you go explore the reef.
Sure,
Yeah.
I don't see any downside.
And hopefully the pirates will show up in
No
that time.
counter, but
That's not real.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? The world does move around you.
right, it does, and yes, no, I keep thinking that we're swiftly getting to a point where there's no hope of us defeating you, Pito. But we're just gonna have to run away at some point. Maybe.
See what happens.
Anyways. Okay, yeah, we're waiting 2 days. I mean, Potom, the opportunity cost, I hopefully is
Well, she
to
needs-
the benefit.
If she needs a day to prepare, that's 1 day anyway.
No, she needs the evening to prepare, and then it takes her part of the day to deliver the ritual. So she could send you off, like if she started right now, she could send you off at like noon tomorrow. She could complete the ritual by noon tomorrow, which would give you from noon to 8. But like if you wanted to depart at a certain specific time, she just needs to plan.
Well then, yeah, let's give Potom the just at least 1 day So tomorrow evening,
No,
She
but
can-
we want it to be light out.
what I'm
Dark
saying
enough
is
down
that
there.
right she would be able to deliver the ritual by the next morning. So if we just hold 24 hours, not 48, we'll hold 24, and that'll put us the day after tomorrow.
That next morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's cool. She is going to, though, because this takes her away from serving the village, she is going to ask for compensation. Again, the village economy here can't really handle huge influxes of gold. So
We're just destroying the local economy.
yeah. So she's going to ask instead if you have anything of value to trade that would either benefit her or would benefit the work she does in the village or benefit the village as a whole. But she's going to be looking for
Bottom
compensation
holds up
in
the
the range of 75 to 100 gold pieces for doing this ritual.
Bottom again holds up the plan and just starts talking about the efficiency of ships coming in, and that it would take off the burden of people coming to her who are injured, because then they would come in waves, and that instead of everybody all at once, so that you'd have to choose a priority of patients. So yeah, Potom is again trying to sell this plan to anybody who will accept it.
Okay. Why don't you make a persuasion check, and with a success, we'll call it a partial value for this. The DC is 15.
Oh, thank goodness, 16.
Nice. So although her eyes do glaze over for most of your explanation of the plan, I think at the point where Potom starts to talk about the likely reduction in like knife injuries during cleaning fish, or like the kinds of accidents during unloading that are likely to be reduced and things like that, she does perk up a bit at that. And what she basically does is send you to go talk to the head woman about this plan. And though the head woman initially rolled her eyes in her first conversation with you, when you come at her with this, she's open-minded, though very resistant to, or I guess she acknowledges that there is likely to be resistance among the fishermen who have been doing things a certain way their whole life, which is what their parents taught them to do and their parents taught them to do and all of that. But she comes around to the idea that this could add some value.
So what you're saying is that we need a town meeting.
Yeah. So while that is percolating, let's call that half the value.
I think also Potom sprinkles into both the witchy woman and the head that there will be a blacksmith shop. Even though a bunch of his time will be devoted to working on his needs, that there might be a chance to make some ironwork things.
Offering his services as a blacksmith.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. I have some ghoulfinger poison if you'd like some ghoulfinger poison.
I don't think she's super interested in poison.
I mean, she's a witch.
She's a witch.
She's a healer.
Yeah, she's also a witch though. Okay, let's see. We haven't looked on our pony guys. We haven't looked at our pony. I suppose we need to, let's see.
Pando, I can tell you, has very little in her inventory.
So I do have this blue quartz also. It's the blue quartz. Unless you need it, Potom. I have some other gems too, but
Well, the blue quartz was was just flavored description of the fungible resources, but
Oh, okay.
we could easily just say that the blue quartz is worth like 20 gold pieces,
Okay.
and she'd be open to that if you want to
Okay.
give her the blue quartz.
Want the blue quartz? So that's 20.
Sure.
Do you need any weapons or anything like that? I mean,
Air pulls out a salted licorice candy.
Oh, she is curious about that. How much of the candy do you have?
I never quantified it. I mean, I have to imagine a personal amount.
All right. So let's say she agrees with Potom helping in the
To sweeten
village.
the deal.
The blue quartz for her, which she has some magic related plans for, and a packet of exotic foreign candy that she can use to help keep children calm when she's
Right.
working on them.
Oh yeah, for the kids.
She agrees
Okay.
to your price and sends you on your way as she needs to go gather some materials and prepare for the ritual. In order for the ritual to take effect in the morning, for you all to be able to depart in the morning, she tells you you'll need to come back to her hut, not tonight, but the following night, when the moon is at its peak. So like midnight, basically. So you're gonna come back to her hut tomorrow night at midnight for her to go through the ritual and then have you ready to go in the morning.
okay. I'd like
So
to.
early
I'd like
bedtime.
to look at these pony casks. Kind of like back at her camp, though.
Yeah, Potom sets off to set up a blacksmith station somewhere that makes sense, tucked off to the side, but still visible.
Okay. Yeah, that's easy to do. You can just, there's an area set back from the water that's relatively undeveloped. There's a lot of undeveloped.
I'm sure that
Landover.
he got together with the head to ask for a space,
Yeah. Easy
and
to,
of course, paid her for the licensing of that space.
oh, sure. She's here for that. One gold piece. is what
All
she
right.
says.
We're
Everything
not
costs
trying to
one gold,
scam
know what it
everybody
is.
here. We're just trying to sort of spread the love here. We got money, we got resources. We're not trying to take advantage of anyone. We're trying to
such
pay fair
carpetbaggers.
prices.
We show up. We're just
All right.
like throwing money around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a funny quirk of D&D is that the traveling adventurer is generally, unless they're
Flush with cash.
in a big city, they are the rich foreigners.
Yeah.
Like this is
Asshole tourists.
yeah, I truly like this is very much like we all just took a vacation to Thailand.
We're the Instagram influencers.
Yeah.
I also like that we're able to kind of empty out our inventories. Like,
Right. I think.
oh yeah, no, I do have that cool.
My junk that I forgot I have, that I forgot I own.
Peasants.
I'd also like. Yeah. Right.
Is a lavish gift for you.
I'd like to. I just want to touch base with Kieran too and make sure that he would be available for rent on that day. Also,
I think after you gave Kieran 10 gold,
he'll
he
do
is
anything we want him
Just
to.
follow you around.
readily available. He's on call
Yeah.
for you,
Yeah, that's good.
at least for now. If you stretch that too far, I'll let you know. But
Okay.
Well, maybe
Uh,
he'll
let's-
get closer to the black water then.
he's still
Nah,
not
not
still
quite
not
that.
into that. No.
So yeah, I do want to check out these pony kegs.
Yeah. So, do you want to crack one of them open?
I don't know. What do you think? Can we investigate it first? Is it like liquid in there? Can I?
It
How
seems
heavy
to
is
contain.
it?
It seems to contain some kind of liquid.
Okay.
Eric has little faith there's anything really in here other than seawater.
Seawater. Let's crack one open and
They
see.
they appear to be well sealed.
Okay.
Okay. Let's open one up and see what it is.
All right, you crack one open, and as soon as you get the lid off, a very actually,
Heavenly scent.
it depends on your tastes.
Okay.
So
It's just like animal piss they used to make phosphorus for fertilizer.
I'm just really into it. Air and Freya, why don't you roll we'll call it a history check.
You got
Okay.
it.
Let's see if
I'm
you
gonna roll. I'm gonna roll the big die.
I want to see if you've had.
Oh yeah, me too.
I
At
want to see if you've had a
advantage.
specific
This is
experience.
perfect. This is
Yeah, this is a
perfect
good
for the
fuzzy
history.
die moment.
Especially since it only seems to land on small numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a +1, so.
I have a +3. Yeah.
Give it a good fluffing before you roll it.
14, all right. We're getting a lot of height on these rolls.
I think it's important. I think it's part of it.
Oh, 15.
A 15,
Here we go.
okay,
15
all right.
And let's see. Come on.
Oh,
What is that? 8?
What do you think?
18? Yeah, I would say that that's an 18.
Okay.
At the worst, it's a 17. I have a plus 3 too.
Okay.
It's a 21.
21's good.
Woo!
Look at that.
And 14, 17.
Okay, so we've got a
21.
15 and a 21.
It's pretty good.
So, follow-up question. Are either Air or Freya big drinkers?
Oh yeah, Freya's.
And what's your poison of choice? What is the go-to?
Well, I mean, Freya is straight up. She's got to be a vodka drinker. You know, she's got to be like, what is the
What
northern?
can I light on fire? What can
Yes. What can I light on fire? What is the northern dragon's breath vodka?
Yeah, I like it.
I think Air would only be, she probably only sees alcohol as a tool to get information from others or other.
Got it.
Never recreational.
So she might have
It's not
accumulated
just
some knowledge about it, but more so that like she can
Yeah.
talk about it in certain circles.
No,
right.
it's
It's not a
it's
recreational
everything,
thing.
and it's big in dragon culture.
Oh, it
So,
makes a lot of
yeah,
sense to me.
definitely,
Yeah,
yes.
I just wasn't sure if you'd lean towards the modern or like the Russian influence, because that is kind of the coast that we're on, or if it
Yes.
would be like the Vikings mead kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
But
I know-
I like the
fermented
vodka.
milk they use.
When Freya said Dragon's Breath vodka, it made me instantly think of Kharkov vodka, which is like the cheapest. Like
No.
no, hang on, stick with me here. It's like it. In real life, it is like the cheapest, worst vodka that you could buy. It tastes like it's already carbonated, which is
Not good.
weird because it shouldn't taste like that. Now, I imagine that Dragon's Breath vodka would be something like that, but fancier and nicer. But it has that sort of already carbonated, tastes like charcoal sort of flavor.
Yeah, and it's got a
Hearty.
real burn. Literally, it burns.
Yeah.
You take fire damage
Okay.
when you drink it.
Unless you're a cold breathing.
Right.
Cold
No,
breathing
maybe
dragon.
particularly when, but if you. Okay, so that's good. Good background. So what is in the casks? Freya, I think you recognize exactly what this is because you've tasted it before, and Air, I think you recognize categorically what it is. So these are casks of whiskey. They come from a very specific island in the empire, in the inner chain of imperial islands. It is a single barrel cask whiskey that you have tasted before because visiting dignitaries, including our friend that we talked about before that you had a crush on, his son.
Minotaur guy.
The
or
Minotaur,
what was
right.
his name?
Yeah. Would sometimes bring gifts of this stuff because it is rare and expensive and considered.
Minotaur of whiskey.
It's elven whiskey.
Elven whiskey.
It is elven, it is single barrel elven whiskey that's only made on one tiny island.
Okay.
And it is considered to be a drink of elites in certain circles for those that enjoy whiskey. And there are 4 casks of it.
This is
What if we use this to
very
barter?
nice. Yeah, this is nice stuff.
I will tell you with your history check, this is something that the villagers in this community would have never seen or experienced in
Yeah.
their lives. So
But
it
once
might,
they taste it.
I mean, it might, you just suspect it might be wasted on them. I guess
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
Oh, but
But
we're carried around.
you do what you will
Yeah.
with it. But the one cask is already open now.
Well,
So unless Potom wants to help you somehow magically seal it back up.
Well, I don't have too much to do in the next day or so. I would like to partake a little of this and wander
Freya
about the
just-
village.
All right.
Just
I
kicks
like it.
back and
Freya's gonna get in there and party a little bit.
does a mud bath.
Straight to the mud baths, please.
Would never go in the mud bath. I would never drink and go in the mud bath.
So you may add 3 casks of single barrel whiskey to your inventory.
Okay, what about the fourth one that's open?
Well, you're drinking it.
I'm drinking the whole thing.
Well, I don't know. You tell me. You've
I
got.
wasn't gonna drink the whole thing. Maybe
Share it?
I'll,
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, you know what I'll do?
You can
is-
share it out, or you can
is
try to
what I'm
find a
gonna do.
bottle,
Yeah,
somebody
I'm
to
gonna
bottle
try
it for
find-
you.
I'm gonna try to find a bottle here, and I just as a gesture of goodwill, because that's what I am doing. I am going to give a small bottle to the witch.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very
small
good.
bottle to the witch.
She immediately starts using it to like strip
Clean
like,
wounds.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, okay.
She mixes it with Coca-Cola
Yeah.
right away and just starts drinking it over ice.
Turns on the music.
All right, very good. So, hang on, I have to advance the clock.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do too, is I'm gonna look around for some bottles, like how many bottles can I get out of it? So
Yeah, so the bottling here is going to be a little low budget because somebody's got to clean out some old bottles and make this happen for you, but it's very doable. So I think you'll come away with, after you share around a little bit, give one to the witchy woman, you'd be left with 2 bottles
okay.
of this. They're unmarked, and you have no way of proving that those bottles are this particular kind of whiskey, but you've got a couple bottles there. So, Potom, for you, tell me about the project that you're trying to get, what you're trying to get done in the next 24 hours.
Well, so Potom is trying to make the materials that he has into the best shielding for his body that he can.
Okay.
He doesn't personally want to wear it. He kind of wants to make a bubble. He wants to make a vessel that he can ride inside of.
Got it. So he's building out sort of a cabin or a.
Correct.
Yeah.
I guess while I was thinking of it being a soup pot, that there would be, holes along the top so that he could see in a 360 sort of direction, a light of some sort on the inside, but he's able to protection for his arms and legs that are exposed on the arms and legs of the exocon.
Got it. So I'll give you 2 options here because you're not working with ideal materials or with an ideal setup. This is all very improvised. The trade-off is time. So in 24 hours, you can make an attempt to build sort of a largish crucible, get this metal up to temperature, melt down all this scrap, and make something with it. In 24 hours, it will be a certain difficulty level for you if you want to, if you want the outcome of this to be more like a cage. So it wouldn't be like plates or a bowl sort of protection, but it would provide protection as like a step 1, let's say, that could be added on to later. But you could create the framework of this, and you could think of it like not the chain link, but that much finer. Remember old-timey elevators with the sliding?
Yeah.
There you'd slide the door aside. Yeah, like a lattice work kind of thing. I'm picturing something of that gauge net or that gauge hole, but it would still be heavy duty iron. So it'd be like it would provide better than chainmail level protection, and it'd be a cage, right? So you could do that in a day at the normal DC that I'll give you, which would be 15. Or if you want to try to get this truly to be solid walls, or like what you were describing, to try to make like a cauldron with all the holes and stuff like that, to really do that, either you're going to need to take more like 2 or 3 days to get it done, or we're going to do it at a DC of 20 because you're going to be rushing to try to make that structure work.
I think that the lattice work makes sense for our storytelling, and just to see Potom sitting in the chair on the exocom, and then as he climbs up into it, goes from one side and closes the lattice around himself.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense, and I think that is the direction that we'll go.
All right, cool. Well, then let's do a tinkering check, or whatever we call it in 5e.
Sure. Is that just is that an intelligence check, or?
I think that'd be an intelligence check with your proficiency bonus.
Okay. So, 11.
Okay.
Not very good.
Yeah, so I think on the first night of this, I think the real challenge here ends up being fuel source. So you get a foundry setup, or a small sort of foundry setup, and you just have a really hard time keeping the fire hot enough to do the level of smelting that you want to do. And so you make some progress on it, and we'll carry that progress through if you get a chance to work on it the next day. But I think what comes out is the metal, your finished metal product continues to be too brittle, because you're just not getting it to the temperature it needs to get by burning like palm fronds and whatever nonsense you're able to accumulate around here. But you've got the system in place now, so and your brain's got lots of ideas about how to solve for that. All right, that takes us to into the next day. Is there anything else anybody wants to be doing before you go to the witchy woman's hut at midnight? You had a little whiskey. You set up a foundry.
I would imagine that we've had a chance to long rest.
Yep, you can definitely
Okay.
take a long rest.
And then I think that Potom just goes back to it, that after, a night of sleep, that he's like, all right, now is the time. He finds that little girl that was helping us on the first day, and gives her a silver piece to go and start collecting firewood and bringing it to him.
Okay, yeah, Yoon is all about that. She'll round up some other children, and you get a pretty good pile early in the day together, and they also bring you some. A lot of their cooking is done not only over palm fronds and things like that, but when they need to get things really hot, dried water buffalo chips.
Perfect.
They put to work for that. So you've got a good supply of this, and I'm going to have you roll your check again. We'll lower the DC a little bit on day 2 to a 14.
Okay, well, I got that, but it's 14, 15, 17 is what I got.
Okay, great. So with that, by probably dinner time, Potom's got the cage built out, and it is it's cooling, let's say, as you've kind of put the final spot welds on it and such. But yeah, by nightfall, it is ready to go and complete.
Perfect. What does this do to my armor class?
Well, I would say when you are, I have not read a lot about your, why aren't you listed in the campaign anymore?
Because I'm Pal Potom-Far in the campaign now.
Oh yeah, but it doesn't, did I not link you? Let's see. Hang on. Yeah, you're there. It just wouldn't let me. It just wouldn't let me jump to you. Whatever. So what I'm not familiar with is how this path for you as, oh here, arcane armor.
I was gonna say, yeah, that must be like.
There, yeah, no, there is. I mean, the rules for the armor itself. I guess I just wasn't playing by those yet because there wasn't narratively it didn't fit. So didn't have a chance to build something special for it.
Yeah. I think for me, where this should go is rather than us creating like a homebrew outcome here, I think the work you're doing should be in pursuit of activating these actions. So, when you are in the Guardian armor, maybe this cage is what allows you to activate the defensive field. What armor are you wearing right now? Just literally wearing.
So I wear a studded leather armor, and then I have a shield.
The shield, got it.
But I mean, since we've been riding the Exocom, and kind of developing he was turning into the divine armor, the shield has kind of ridden in front. So Potom is seated in the chair, and then almost like a door. The shield closes in front.
Got it. I would say just for now, as we continue to think about this, I would just mechanically swap your studded leather for chain.
Okay.
And we'll say that's basically added that layer of metal protection when you're in the suit. And when you're out of the suit, we'll just remember that it's studded leather. And I think that'll bump you to 16, if I am remembering correctly what chain does. Might even be more than that.
I would imagine that it would that, and then we have to. Well, this will be easy because then I can just oscillate back and forth. I'll keep the studded leather in there, and so anytime that he hops out, I'll just activate that. So yeah, I'm now armor class 18. Yes, that is perfect.
All right. Got it. Okay, so
Wish I had armor class 18.
that's very tanky.
Yeah.
Since he's literally walking around in a tank.
I think that there's also he's affixed a light, so anytime that the chain door is closed, he's kind of bathed in this light blue light.
Got some LEDs.
That's fun. He's got
no, he's definitely
rainbow
tricked out
LED
with
keyboard.
and no, not light blue. Let's go green. Because it kind of just makes his hair, which is already this mossy green, it makes it kind of fluorescent green when
That's awesome.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Well then, around midnight, you head to the witchy woman's hut. She greets you outside and brings you down to the water, where she has prepared a little circle and asks you to sit basically with your butt in the sand and your feet in the waves. And she's laid out some different materials around you. She's got some incense burning, and she basically guides you in a meditation for a few minutes until you fall into kind of a fugue state as she's completing this ritual. The ritual in total actually takes less time than you expected. Kind of get the sense that she overestimated out of a dearth of caution because she didn't want to disappoint. It doesn't seem like this is something she does often. Like she might have even been unsure whether it was going to work and if she'd have to try it again. But it does work the first time. And so about 2 hours later, she wakes you from your meditation just as the first blush of dawn is out on the is rising over the hills behind you, and she tells you that the ritual is complete and invites you to step down into the water to try taking your first breaths. You've done this before, but for everybody else, she wants to make sure that you don't panic when you take your first breaths of
Oh, the
ocean
psychological
water.
barrier, yeah.
It is.
And
Do you actually grow gills, or do you?
no, so with this ritual, you just become, your lungs become able to process.
So we just breathe water into our lungs.
You breathe water into your lungs, which is a very
you actually-
uncomfortable.
You feel like you're drowning.
Feels like you're drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then this is
Why
why
you just don't
she
die. Yeah.
wants you to practice it, because there is a moment of panic for all of you surface dwellers as you force your brain to do this. But your brain catches up quickly, and the magic helps because as you pull the water into your lungs, you do immediately feel as if you took a breath. But there is a moment of choking until you adjust, and then the less fun part is when you get out of the water and try to take a breath, you immediately vomit up a bunch of seawater, and before you start breathing water again. But after a couple practices, everybody kind of gets accustomed to this uncomfortable process, and she tells you, you should be good until shortly after, until around lunch, basically. So you've got around 8 hours. You have 8 hours now, mechanically, of the ability to breathe underwater. And if you're ready to head out right away, your friend Kieran is already preparing his boat.
I mean, I think we have to, right, to maximize our.
Totally. We better go.
Okay. Well, then off you head. And once again, as you approach the dark water that morning, Kieran pulls up short, drops his little anchor, and asks you what you want him to do.
I feel like Eric kind of elbows him a little bit and is like, "Come on, you can go a little closer." Right? Just like gets him to go like a few, like
Sure. I think without a
like 20 feet or
I
something.
think without a persuasion check, he nudges forward just a little bit for you. But so now you're 90 yards from the dark water.
There we
He's
go.
not thrilled about it.
Yeah, so I mean, the only instructions that I really have to say to Kieran is, I don't want you to wait here forever if we're not going to come back, but we should be good to breathe underwater until about noon. So if
much
if
beyond that, we're done.
too much beyond that, I mean, wait for us for watch the horizon, the area around for another hour or so after that, and
Air Septon is like, we paid for the full day. Expect to hear the full day.
Fair. So what he
Potom will. Oh, I'm sorry. Potom will throw a rope with a little weight over the side of the boat. Actually, the weight itself is one of Potom's tinkerings, and it is it has a small little light beacon on the on it,
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
let's-
and so
know how to get back.
so we know where our tie off is for any treasure that we are bringing back.
Sure. So what Kieran agrees to do is he will stay near this area. He's going to attach a big float. He's got a bunch of these floats that he uses to attach to his nets. So he's going to attach a float to that rope that you just sunk, Potom.
Perfect.
And so that he can see where it is. And he basically tells you he's going to fish, but he will not leave line of sight of that float. So when and if you pop back up, he'll be within shouting distance to take care of you.
okay.
And then before we go into the water, Potom kind of, pulls a couple little levers on his armor, and we turn invisible.
Ooh, that's cool.
Oh.
Yes.
We all turn invisible? No.
I wish that I had the technology to do that, but no, that's a great idea, and maybe it's something I should work on.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Air just kind of mumbles. She's like, "Oh, I could turn invisible."
I like that. All right, so Pando jumps in, straight dolphin again right away, and you all start swimming towards the dark water.
We are swimming toward the dark water.
You know what? Air does turn invisible.
There you go. Nice. All right, we got two invisible party members,
A dolphin and a
and
dragonborn.
a dragon, a big shiny silver dragonborn.
Uh-huh.
And her weapon also is a trident. She's
A trident. Well,
yeah,
yes.
I was gonna
and,
go with great sword, but now it's trident.
I got my potion of animal friendship in my hand. Okay, I'm gonna make friends with the biggest shark.
Ready to rock. All right, very good. Well, let's. So as you proceed into the dark water again, all of you see what Freya and Pando saw last time, which is this very dramatic change in the ecosystem beneath you, and you're swimming for a little while. You're, I assume, searching. So
Yep.
if somebody wants to make a perception check, you can make individual perception checks, or you can make somebody can help somebody. But let's talk about it.
Do you have a modifier, Bottom?
I guess this is how I saw it happening, was that once Potom went overboard, he went to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
That there is no swimming for Potom.
He's just
He's
marching
down
along.
there.
Yeah, but then you're kicking up dust.
Yeah, I have.
You're kicking up stuff so you can see that. So you're invisible. So why wouldn't you swim?
Well, because he's
Because-
in a giant suit of metal armor.
Oh, that's true.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure it can swim.
All right.
I think
Yeah.
mechanically that makes a great deal of sense. So the invisible steel defender is clomping along the bottom of the ocean,
And even though it is kicking up a little bit of
destroying
sediment,
coral reef.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
For the
Ripping
endangered
up the
species.
reef.
for the 90 yards that it takes to get to the dead zone.
Devastating to the local ecosystem.
Weeping dolphin.
and I also
only
imagine
took
that
1,000
that-
years to grow.
does dark vision work underwater?
That's
Sure.
why not, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
you're not. It's not. But once again, it's not actually dark down here.
Sure.
At least not
And
where
you
you.
said
At
we're
least
only
not where you
about-
are now.
We're only about 40
Right.
feet down, right?
Yeah,
It's
and the
going to
sun.
be pretty light.
And the
at
sun
40
is
feet
now
down.
rising. So
Okay.
I mean, it's still morning. So it's not like
Bright.
bright down.
Okay.
But it's
But you
crystal
can
clear
see the
water.
bottom from the
Sure.
boat, so you can
Okay.
see. You can
It's,
see.
yeah,
from-
it's crystal clear water and it's light outside.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So even though Potom is invisible, there's still, I would imagine that sediment is kicking up, but you can't see what's actually making it. I mean, you would imagine if you just saw it that it would be something in the sand itself.
I mean, it's kind of like what a shark looks like in the sand. You know, as the shark swims along the bottom, it kicks up
There you
it
go.
kicks
Yeah.
it up. That's
Maybe
any
it's a
sharks that
very
I've
big
seen.
stingray.
Any sharks that I've seen.
All right,
Then-
so somebody give me perception checks, please.
Oh, does anybody have a modifier for perception?
Pando has a very
do.
significant.
Yeah.
modifier.
I would like to, add into her so she could roll at advantage.
Gonna help her. Okay, very good. So Pando's at a +8, and she rolls a 14 and 6. So that's a 22 for Pando. Very good.
I rolled a 13 for Potom.
All right. So as you get into this area, I think you swim/walk for probably 10-15 minutes at the start. As you start, well, let me ask you this: are you headed towards the center of this zone, or are you gonna walk the perimeter? Like, is there a plan, or are you just going in and walking a random direction? Like, how are you searching?
No, I think that, I mean,
I don't know.
Potom knowing that his invisibility is limited, I think will head straight in.
Sure.
All right, so you all are targeting the center of this region.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you march on, probably 10, 15 minutes in, when you see in the distance ahead of you, now you do see it starting to get a little darker up ahead. And it's not that the water is cloudy necessarily, but all around you in every direction that you look, it's now that the sun is up a little bit, it's bright cerulean blue and white sand, but directly ahead of you in a slowly widening cone of your vision, it just looks dark, as if over there maybe there's some heavy cloud cover or something obscuring the sun, even though there were no clouds in the sky. So it just literally gets a little darker up ahead. And because Pando rolled another huge perception check, she once again spots ahead of their approach the sharks that she saw earlier, sort of school of them, and they're approaching you directly.
Well, I'm taking my spell of animal friendship. Okay.
Okay, do it. We're gonna get to that, but first I'm gonna ask you guys.
I come in peace.
I come in
I'm
peace.
gonna ask you guys to come into the maps
Ooh.
Okay.
because we have a map.
Maybe I should have saved that fuzzy dice.
Maybe I should save my. Maybe we could just fight him.
Let me zoom out just a bit here. All right. Let's start the session. Now let's see if we have a dolphin token.
That'd be cool. Oh, that looks pretty cool.
We do have a dolphin, but it's not in my content library. So dumb. Fine.
Tridents are kind of lame. They didn't have reach?
Hunter shark, giant shark, brown bear.
Yeah, I just had him. He preloads with Pando now.
I mean, I think if I looked and saw like a giant grizzly bear swimming toward me in the water, that would be one of the most terrifying things I could ever think of.
Really? Yeah, he's now loaded up as her companion, so he comes in.
It's funny, I don't see the brown bear.
I just took him off. I removed him. All right. Well, we'll just know that for right now, Pando is a dolphin.
Well,
Okay.
just make our border color blue.
Yeah, there you go.
I do have to leave it too, by the way.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, that's same
Okay.
thing. So we'll get into it here and see what happens. Let's.
I just see a lot of enemies on them.
There are a lot of enemies.
do
That's
this.
true.
We can do this. My
They're all Freya's friends.
They could be.
They're not enemies.
Let's roll initiative though, just in case. Just in case they
I
decide
don't know. I haven't taken it yet.
not to be friends, which is
Well,
possible.
they don't see me. This-
That's true. Or Potom. They only see
Right.
me.
It's true.
I should look how
Roll
invisibility
for
actually works. Right?
initiative. Oh, 3.
All right, hang on. I have to just reload this. How many reef sharks do I have on there? 4?
3.
Sharks.
3 reef sharks?
Okay, add condition invisible.
You have a. Oh, yeah.
3. Got it. Okay.
Oh, I have an advantage on initiative as when I'm invisible.
Yeah. Nice. All right. I'm in. I got the encounter set up. So, Freya, you said your initiative was 3.
Yeah.
Air?
Oh, sorry. My initiative is 9.
9. And Potom?
8.
8. Okay. And Pando. Sorry, a lot of jumping around to make this between sheets to make it. Pando, oof, 4. Okay, well, hot start, you guys.
Oh, I guess I was using the new rules, not the old rules.
So that means our reef sharks are going to act first here. So let me. Reef Shark A. Reef Shark B. And Reef Shark C. All right. So Reef Shark A has a swim speed of 30 feet. Where is my grid? Okay. So it's going to have to dash.
Yeah, where is your grid?
I don't know, but I'm mad about it. I got a ruler here, so that's 60 feet. So even with the dash, it won't quite get there. So it's going to dash to here. Reef Shark A can get to about here. Reef Shark C with a dash can get to air, but that's all they can do.
But can't see air.
Oh, right, we can't see air. So what I mean is Freya, you get to about there. All right, so dash, dash, dash is all of their turns.
Okay.
My Hunter Shark has a swim speed of 40. So let me ruler that.
What a waste of a spell to cast invisibility.
40 feet only gets them there.
Right.
So
It's just because you were jealous.
Oh, I screwed up. I could have made another target invisible.
Oh, it's handy to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it
And-
would have helped making you had made you invisible.
Well,
So
they
it's
might have
just
seen us. We just would have had the dolphin.
so it's just the dolphin.
Yeah, we'll see. No, I think that could definitely come in handy. They'll come up, especially because Potom can make himself invisible. You can make
air,
another one
you
of
are
those.
now up.
Boy, can I delay my turn?
Sure, if you want to just hold till later in the initiative order,
Yes.
that's fine.
Okay.
All right, so then next up is our giant shark. The giant shark has a swim speed of 50. And 50 feet. Oh, it just doesn't get him there. Well, all right, then.
I can't see the grid on here.
I know.
No grid.
I don't know why there's no grid, but oh, these guys they're all dashing, so that's gonna get these guys
Over
to
there.
here,
Run into bottom.
here, and he's gonna dash and come around from behind.
Oh man, this visibility is not going to be helpful because we're gonna. Okay, it's all.
It's gonna get you a surprise probably.
Yeah.
So all they did was move on their turns. That's all they managed. Potom, you're up.
We got him flanked.
Well,
We
I-
got that hunter shark flanked.
I think that Potom is keeping an eye on the giant shark, and we're going to hold. We're going to hold my action as well. But I have a spell to cast. Do I tell you that I would what spell I want to cast now?
Yeah. So if you're gonna hold an action to cast a spell, then you have to tell me the spell and tell me what situation will trigger you casting it.
Okay. Well, so I'm going to cast Catapult at second level. It will be 4d8 bludgeoning damage. I will pick a rock off of the ground. So I have to pick something within 60 feet, and then I can launch that 90 feet. So a rock in between me and the giant shark
Okay.
is the target, or the giant shark is the target with a rock that's somewhere there, and then we're holding that until there is an aggressive action from the sharks. I mean, yes, them moving up on us, but I'm banking on animal friendship here.
Okay. Sounds good. Next up is going to be Pando. I guess Pando's also banking on animal friendship. So
See what happens.
Pando is going to hold. I need to.
Yeah, I don't know if you. I mean, I can either hold an action, or I was just gonna say will act after Freya.
All right, let me get my cool dolphin stat block here. You'll be shocked to hear dolphins not strong.
What?
She
Weird. Just real smart.
She does have a. Here we go.
I mean,
She does have a slam attack.
like a dolphin would really screw me up.
Slam attack.
Probably, but it doesn't do much. So we'll
Wait,
get.
how many people a year do dolphins kill? Plenty.
I don't know. I don't have a good answer to that. All right, so we'll learn about that when it comes time. Where's my dolphin? Jeez Louise. Okay, so back to the encounter. So Pando is going to hold. She's going to also hold her slam attack action against an enemy once they take a hostile action. And Freya, it is your turn.
There's
I mean, I'm
one
trying.
place.
I'm trying the potion of animal friendship here first, and I'm gonna target that giant shark.
All right, let's learn about the potion of animal friendship. When you drink this potion, you can cast the animal friendship spell for 1 hour at will. Agitating this muddy liquid brings little bits into view, a fish scale, hummingbird, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so spell save DC is 13. That's a wisdom save. So you're going to start with the giant shark. His wisdom is a modifier of 0. So let's see if it works. It does. Animal friendship does what? This spell lets you convince a beast that you mean it no harm. Choose a beast that you can see within range. It must see and hear you. If the beast's intelligence is 4 or higher, the spell fails. Let me just check that.
Oh yeah. No.
Nope.
Oh.
Intelligence
dumb.
1. It is charmed by you for the spell's duration. If you or one of your companions harms the target, the spell ends. So the charmed condition means that it cannot harm the charmer, and you have advantage on any ability check to interact with it socially. So if you want to socialize with the shark.
Well, also, try to get some information from it too.
So, I would get in this case, I would give you an advantage on like animal handling checks.
Okay.
So
You can ride the shark.
maybe. So that's
A silver dragon riding a shark,
you
guys.
finally achieved it. So there's a good news, bad news to this. So
Okay.
the good news is you succeeded. The giant shark views you in a friendly way.
The
and
other
it
sharks
will
don't.
not attack you.
Okay.
The bad news is limited effect, which is that while you can continue to do this, you can only do it once a round. You can do it at will, but you can only do it once a round.
And it takes an action.
It takes an action. And none of the other sharks are affected right now.
Okay.
The other challenge that you have, the other downside of limited effect is it only feels this way about you.
Okay.
Oh.
So your companions are not seen as friendly the way you are seen as
What
friendly.
a pointless.
Well, two of us aren't seen.
Oh, yeah,
Two of you are invisible, and Pando is a dolphin, which looks delicious.
So what I'm gonna, but you know, it's not that smart or anything, but I'm gonna. So my action was that I took my thing.
Took
you
your
know.
potion, which I let you take as a bonus action, but then to use it was your to cast animal friendship was your action.
Okay. Well, could I-
So now the shark thinks you're nice.
yeah, we're friends.
You
have
use your movement to go and hug Pando.
Well, so what I'm kind of wondering, yeah, I have movement. I'm going to go up by the giant shark. But what I would like to, yeah, it was kind of pointless, but fun. I've been waiting to use that. I think,
Who said it was pointless? I think it's great.
so
It's not hurting.
it's not hurting anything. So I think what I would like to do though also is just kind of, can I talk to him as part of my animal friendship spell? Can I just try
Animal
to-
friendship does not give you the ability to speak with animals.
Oh, I can speak with
Different
animals, though I have to meditate. God damn it. I have to meditate for 10 minutes, but I
Perfect.
can
Well,
talk
just
to
hang out here. The giant shark's not gonna attack you, so you meditate on the bottom of the ocean while your friends are torn apart by sharks. And by the time it's all done, it'll be really good.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's good. I'm gonna go up by the giant shark. If I can, I
Yeah,
can't.
go for it.
Well, the giant shark. It's not gonna act on your behalf, though, right? It's not
Yeah, I'll just go
a-
right up here by him.
It's not dominated.
Right.
I'll
it
just
is-
go up there. It's mesmerized by me, though, right?
It just
I
isn't gonna attack Freya.
just wants to be real good friends with me.
All right, so now we're at the
Damn
end.
it.
We're at the end of the round, and so at the end of the round, everybody who has held actions either is going to lose those actions or needs to trigger them now.
I don't know. I don't want to stab a shark, but do I have no other choice? I don't want to start something here.
I mean, stab a reach.
I'll just say this to you. It's very obvious to you that all these sharks are going to bite you next turn.
There's no out.
Like they
They've
are
broadcast their-
attacking.
Should definitely
They
go
just
for-
didn't quite get to you,
Okay.
but they are attacking you. They are very hostile. The
Sorry,
giant
okay.
shark looks a little confused
and intrigued by
and,
the
in-
silver.
and
up
intrigued
there.
by Freya. But other than that, what you see is sharks swimming all around your two friends, fixing to eat them.
Okay, Air is going to move and unfortunately give up her invisibility to
Okay,
stab one
reach.
of these.
All right,
Hunter shark or what?
I'm going to stab the reef shark.
all right. Reef Shark C is taking an attack from you.
Yes.
Go for it.
Let's see here. I'll have to do this a little manually because I don't have a trident added to my list here, but do it.
I should have given you some. I should have passed out some javelins. Here.
Oh, it's 9 plus 3, so 12.
12 does hit the Reef Shark.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's just hits.
Okay. Ooh, that's good. It's gonna be 8 plus 6 for 14 damage.
Nice.
Okay, and then I get to attack again. Okay, that's something. 6 plus 9, so that hits.
Mm-hmm.
I assume. And then another D8. 11 more points of damage.
Okay.
Okay, that's something.
That'll do it. First Reef Shark is down.
Oh, perfect.
These little guys, two trident stabs will do it. As that first Reef Shark goes down, and you're
Blood, just clouds of.
yeah, and that's gonna build some enthusiasm around here. Yeah, and your invisibility fades as the sharks catch a look of you emerging from the cloud of blood. Potom, you also have a held action. Do you want to cast your spell or not?
Can I change that action?
Nope.
Or does it have to be that?
Nope, you.
Okay, yeah, no, then I cast it. Catapult. Oh, we were catapulting the giant shark. That's not gonna be good. No, I'm gonna let that go. Damn it. All right, yeah, I let that go.
So you're not doing it.
No, I'm not gonna catapult the giant shark since Freya is
Trying to make friends
Being
with it, but
friends
it's
with
not
it.
going to be
Okay.
friends with you.
Yeah, to be clear, it's not friendly to you.
right. I'm not trying to get that. I'm not trying to. I have enough on my plate with the 2 hunter sharks in front of me
Okay.
and the reef sharks that I don't want to disturb that yet.
All right. Well, I will. I'll just say, like, if you want, I will let you cast the spell, but target something else. Sure.
Oh, great. Well, then that for sure. That I want to hit the shark that is right in front of me.
All right.
This guy.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
Anyway, yeah, you've seen him.
Hunter A. He has to make a save? Is that right?
Yes, he needs to make a dexterity save of 17.
Ooh. All right. Let's see how he does. That's a 14, so he fails.
Well, then he's going to be taking 3d8 bludgeoning damage for 17 points.
Ooh,
Nice.
That's a nice hit.
That was Hunter A.
Yep.
That's Hunter A.
All right. Good news is he's a little bit of a beefier boy than the reef shark, so he's still swimming.
Okay, except
as
that.
Rock bonks him hard on the nose. He looks a little dazed.
So, how I read this spell is that I pick an object within 60 feet of me to throw up to 90 feet.
That's right.
So you're gonna take a shot. Throw it.
And so, does that necessarily cause me to be seen if the rock is coming from somewhere else?
Casting a spell drops your invisibility.
Okay. I mean, fine if that's the way.
Hard coded
Like-
into the rules.
Yeah, that's a pretty firm rule about basic invisibility.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Just
All
trying to argue.
I get it. And now Pando the dolphin. I mean, she might as well do some dolphin stuff while she's a dolphin. So Pando's going to kind of just cruise around here a little bit, and she's going to bop that reef shark with her dolphiny slam attack. Her dolphiny slam attack is at a +4 to hit, which is going to be a natural 20. She crits
Yeah.
as a dolphin. That's pretty
Sweet.
good. It's not a lot of damage. I'll be real with you. That's 8 plus a d6. It's something.
Hey, that's
She needed the crit to make this. Whoa, max crit damage too, though. 14 damage to the reef shark.
hey, that is nothing to sneeze at.
Pretty solid for a dolphin. That reef shark, however, is still alive. And that is going to take us to the top of the order. So reef sharks are going to act first. Reef shark B is going to cruise down here and try to take a bite out of air. That is a 14 to hit. Does that hit you, Aaron?
Nope.
Okay, that's a miss. Reef shark only gets one. Reef shark A is going to chomp at our little dolphin friend. That is 20, which certainly hits. So the reef shark, get these dice out of the way. Reef shark's bite does 11 points of piercing damage to this little dolphin. Dolphins have 11 hit points, so Pando is not a dolphin anymore. But she has not taken any real Pando damage yet, and she can breathe underwater because of the ritual. So she's good. That's our reef sharks. Reef shark C is dead. Now we're on to the hunter sharks. Hunter shark A, having just been bonked on the nose, is going to whip around here and try to take a bite out of Potom.
Do we get an attack of opportunity or no?
Yeah.
Ah. Well, we'll Bottom activate this. Excuse me. Thunder gauntlets. I'm
Okay.
just going to take a punch out of him.
All right, hang on.
Punch
Well,
him.
you're
Wait,
not, Potom, you're not getting an attack of opportunity.
Oh, there is.
There it is.
There
Yeah.
it is.
I assume 16 is.
16.
Sorry,
so
my
16
bad. I got excited.
Yeah, you hit air.
Yeah. So that's 10 damage.
10 damage. All right,
Sweet.
that's pretty good. All right, Potom, the hunter shark is gonna roll to attack you. Is a natural 1, which will miss. And hunter shark B is going to attack Pando. Is a 12 to hit, which I'm pretty sure does not hit Pando in her natural form. Nope. So that's another miss. And that takes us to air. Your turn.
Got it. Air is going to. I can't split my 2 attacks, right? I can't like attack.
Oh, sure you
one.
can.
Oh, I can. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and then move and then attack. Okay,
Yeah.
well then we'll do that. Do 1 attack.
This is against the reef shark, I assume.
It is 11 plus 9, I
Hits,
assume.
yeah.
So that's 5 plus 11 damage.
Okay.
Still kicking.
Yep. That's
Oh.
the first hit on him.
Okay, well then I guess I'll hit him again. 15.
Hits.
14.
That will do it.
There we
So
go.
our second reef shark falls. Do you want to move?
I am going to move.
Remember, you're at half movement, so
Oh, right.
you
So
will want to
probably
use
do
the
that.
ruler here.
Okay, sure. That was
well,
about
I mean, you-
there-ish.
15 feet, you can get to either of these hunter sharks.
Okay, I'll go right up next to
Oh, okay. I guess you
Bottom,
can
but on the
flank
other
him.
side.
Yeah.
I like it back to back.
Yeah,
There you go.
very cinematic.
All right, now it is our friend the giant shark's turn. The giant shark, though fascinated by Freya,
Sparkly.
Is-
shiny.
Friend.
is hungry, and it is going to. It's going to go for air, who's closest,
I object.
and the giant shark gets to roll at a +9 to hit.
Whoa,
That's-
jeez. Okay,
That's
that's.
fun. That's still only a 12.
Oh, thank
Oh,
God. Wow.
jeez.
I
Wow.
looked down at
That
that.
was
Rolled a 3.
Whew, that was a lucky one.
Okay.
Are you at full hit points right now?
I am at full hit points.
Okay, good.
Oh, good.
Pretty good for you.
yeah.
That's it. That's all the giant shark gets to do. Potom, you're up.
All right. Seeing the giant shark coming at us, Potom is going to push off of the bottom. Well, I guess he's going to use his movement to go up to the giant shark, like push off of the bottom and do this shooting punch, basically, just straight up punch, but with his thunder gauntlets.
All right.
And
let's go.
so the first one, which is also a +9, 21.
That's gonna hit. Yeah.
And 13 points of thunder damage. So I imagine that there is just this concussive blast that
Yeah.
goes throughout the battlefield.
Like a death charge vibe, I think.
Yeah, that was kind of how I saw it. And then we have a second attack, and so we'll do the offhand thunder gauntlet. 13.
13 just hits.
Yes. concussive blast number 2 coming in at 6 points of damage.
All right. Nice.
So,
Boom.
well, so what are the weapons that I can use again at full?
Basically,
Javelin.
Any poke-
javelins, spears, daggers, rapiers, things like that. All right. Pando. I don't have Pando's list of things she can change into, so I'm not going to worry about that. But it is her turn, and so she is going to.
I don't think she has anything water friendly other than the dolphin, right?
Yeah, I think she's going to cast Primal Savagery.
Oh, the water snake. Doesn't she have a water snake too?
Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Primal Savagery? Or she could Thorn Whip. Yeah, Primal Savagery is a whole ass action. And oh, wait. Oh, no, make a melee spell attack. Yeah, okay, great. She'll do that. Primal Savagery. And she'll, I think, Reef Shark. The Reef Shark right in front of her. She just eliminate the little guys. So she rolls for her attack. That's going to be a 19, which hits. She does 9 points of piercing damage to Reef Shark A, and that kills him. So one Reef Shark eliminated. That's it for Pando. She's not going to move because she doesn't want to get bit.
Okay.
And that takes us to Freya.
Okay, Freya's gonna Freya will rage, and then come on, I can't move. I'm just gonna move like right up behind. Here we go to flank on Hunter B,
Okay.
and I'm going to stab with a javelin with spider poison on it.
Ooh.
The
Okay.
white spider poison,
Yeah.
and I forgot how the poison works. Exactly, it's
Which spider?
what is
Which
that white spider?
the phase spider?
Yeah, the phase spider.
Here, I'll look it up while you're rolling.
Okay,
I think,
16.
didn't I write it in the notes on that poison?
Oh, you may have.
16 hits. So this spider's poison is a DC 11 Constitution save, and it'll do 4d8 poison damage if he fails.
4d8 poison. Okay, so at 16 to hit, I assume.
Yep. So do your damage,
Okay.
and this is Hunter B. right?
Unfortunately, not that much. 7. Yeah, I don't have anything that like does a ton of damage. Although,
and a poison
actually, I should just use my sword because I think that it's gonna be like half. I think even half.
Well, sword probably is.
You'll roll it at disadvantage, but if you're flanking, then you'd be doing a straight roll. But either way,
But
let's.
the damage stays the same.
Yeah, the
I'm
damage
sorry.
is unchanged.
Oh, I
Just
didn't
roll a
understand that.
disadvantage,
Oh, yeah.
So they're gonna the Hunter Shark's gonna try to make a Constitution save. It needs 11 or better.
That was, what was that, 6?
That's a 4, so it fails. So you can also roll 4d8 poison
See,
damage.
that's a big chunk of damage.
4d8
That's a
poison
good-
damage. Sorry, guys. I know you guys gotta go.
Oh,
And it's okay for us to pause in mid combat too. We
Okay.
won't lose all this.
Sorry, my mouse isn't working because the thing, my mouse pad doesn't work very well, and I might
Want me to
just
roll
need some
something?
help. Does anyone have any mechanical dice?
Sure, just roll a 4d8, Thomas.
Yeah, thank you.
13. Unfortunately, I didn't roll very high for you.
No, that 13,
13
13's
points
great.
of poison damage.
So that, yeah,
That puts it up. I mean, you did 20 damage
stays,
with
yeah,
a javelin. It's pretty good.
yeah.
Okay, that takes us to the top of the round.
Oh, I have another.
Oh, sorry.
I have a second act, so I'd like to also, I'm gonna hit it with my sword then.
Okay.
So I'll roll at disadvantage.
So just a straight roll because you're flanking.
Yeah. There we go,
Use the
26.
second
26
javelin.
definitely
Yeah,
hits.
there we go. And 23.
23 points of damage.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had to roll at disadvantage.
No, just a straight. It was a straight roll because.
Oh,
you're-
a straight roll. Got it. Sorry.
So just roll your damage.
Here's my damage. 11 plus 2 because I'm raging. Oh, it should have been plus 2 then also on the last one. Oops, sorry.
That's right. So,
So-
we'll do
Even
15.
better.
Yeah.
All right, nice. That hunter shark is in a bad way, but it is still alive.
13. Okay.
All right, and speaking of, all the reef sharks are dead, so the hunter sharks are going to go next. Hunter shark A is going to kind of come around here and take another bite at Potom. That is 12 to hit, which misses. Hunter shark B, pretty wounded now, is going to spin around and bite at Freya, who just made it sad.
Made it sad.
That is a 16 to hit. Does that hit you?
That hits.
Okay, and so it is going to do 15 points of piercing damage, reduced
7.
by your rage to 7.
Okay.
And air.
Okay. Air was scared about the +9 to hit from the giant shark.
Sure.
So Air is going to cast mirror image.
Yeah.
She's also made some spell changes in the level up.
Mirror image is great.
So yes. And that's all she does actually.
Okay, stay put. Giant shark's up next. Is anyone wounded yet? Has anyone taken any damage?
It took 7 points of damage.
Great. But the giant shark
No.
won't attack you.
Oh, is that a thing?
Still friends.
Oh, it's like if somebody has damage, that's who because they go for the weakest link or something.
Well, they
No,
smell blood.
because it's probably bleeding.
Sharks are going to prioritize bleeding,
Sure.
bleeding prey. But right now, nobody's bleeding except Freya, and he is your buddy. So that means
Well, the hunter shark is
Oh yeah, did they turn on each
is
other?
bleeding. I mean, they could go for the weakest link.
I'll roll for that. But this
Not
group
it's a-
hunts in a pack.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not happening. Okay, so this is going to be an attack on air. That is a 16, which I think misses you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter because it's below my AC anyway. I was just trying to make sure we were following the mirror image rules correctly.
Yeah. So that's a miss. Boy, giant shark not delivering. Potom, your turn.
Oh, I guess first.
You roll it no matter what.
I roll it first.
Oh,
before
just
you roll.
when I say attack.
It says each time a creature targets you with an attack during, so that hits you with an attack. It targets you with an attack.
Oh, okay.
During your spell's duration, roll a d20 to determine whether the attack instead targets one of your duplicates.
Got it. But then if the attack misses, does anything happen?
If it's targeting one of the duplicates and you hit it,
The duplicate goes away.
right? But if it
Misses, then
it misses.
that just misses.
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
All right, Potom.
All right, Potom looking at Hunter Shark A, pulls his hands apart and claps them together in the direction of Hunter Shark A in a thunder wave,
Ooh.
and that shark can take 10 points of damage.
Wait, is there a save?
Oh, Constitution 17. Sorry.
That's a natural one. Okay. So, how much damage did you say?
That was 10 points of damage.
10 points damage. All right. He's still hanging on, barely, but he's still hanging on. Both those hunter sharks are in really bad shape, but they're still moving.
All right. I don't want to move, so that's it for me.
Okay. Pando is going to take a slash at Hunter Shark B with her primal savagery again. That's 24, so hits easily, and it's going to do 14 points of
Oh, wow.
slashing damage.
Does that take care
to
of that one?
Hunter Shark B, which does take care of him. Is plenty.
Okay,
Another shark down,
all right.
and then we Pando is gonna swim down here, and it's Freya's turn.
Freya's gonna come down here. Can I get far enough to flank?
Well, you can go half your movement speed, so
like
you
up
were
I was about
up
here.
here. What's your movement speed?
It's
30?
40.
Oh, 40? Yeah, then you can get down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm down there to flank. So I am rolling at advantage and attacking. I'll attack with Kimba's Talon.
Okay,
At advantage, yeah. Well, there you go, 26.
that hits.
Yeah.
Just roll your
okay.
damage.
Roll my damage. That wasn't the damage. The damage is 15, 17.
Yeah, plenty. All right. That is going to
Oh.
eliminate the hunter shark. So
Well,
only the giant shark remains, Freya's best friend.
my best friend. Sorry, giant shark. I'm gonna have to. So,
It's an ancient creature. You're really destroying the last of its kind.
I'm okay with that. I'm oddly okay with that. I'm gonna dash straight forward. You know, I'm gonna do my charger bonus action
Okay.
and go right up there, so that so I technically have, so I still have an action left, and I have the you know, because I went 10 straight feet in that dash, so I have a hit. So I have 2 hits on it with my charge.
Okay. So, yeah, got it. So your second attack,
So my second attack.
and then the bonus attack that you get from your charge.
From my charge,
which
yeah,
you get
so
as a
if-
bonus action.
Yes. Sorry, friend. I thought I was going to be able to talk to you or something. 10, which does not hit.
10
I
misses.
imagine.
You try talking to it,
10
it doesn't understand you,
misses.
and it's like,
Oh, and the giant
actually-
shark is not,
Oh, jeez.
that's at disadvantage. The giant shark is not flanked.
Right, but here's my that was my second one, was 16. I just hit that by accident.
So your
again.
first attack
Didn't do
misses. Your
Yours-
bonus attack
it. Hits.
also at disadvantage, 18, and now roll it again.
Oh, I did just roll. Oh, okay. Oops. Here we go. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so that one hits. So one of your attacks lands.
9, 10, 11. Only
right.
11.
11 points of damage. The shark, though it does not have facial expressions, does manage to look betrayed.
Surprised.
Wow, just
Yeah,
emotionally and physically.
emotionally and
Man.
physically gutted.
Should have used that. Should have saved it. I was just so excited to use
I mean, it was not a bad
No.
thought here. There was a path that you could have used. It would have just meant everybody taking some shark attacks for a while, but because
Yeah.
once around you could have tagged another shark and another shark and another shark.
Oh,
But
I
the
see.
problem is at the end of all that, they're all friendly to you and not to your friends.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and
it just
herself.
the use case in this
Yeah.
particular situation.
And then
is-
using my action for that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's better to just
Unless everyone else was invisible,
Just
but
murder.
you.
Air, you're up.
Oh, that's what the move was. Made everyone else invisible.
Make everybody invisible except for me. Okay, see, we're thinking.
And if Pando could have been a shark, maybe they wouldn't have been.
Well, she can be a
after her.
shark now
She was a
next
dolphin,
time.
a delicious dolphin.
She.
She got a good look at the sharks, so I bet she could
Yeah.
be a shark now.
Do we need to?
At least a reef shark,
Do
if
we
not
need
greater.
to pause our play?
I don't. Mine's not a hard cutoff.
Okay.
But it is a cutoff.
Because I'm good.
Yeah, it depends how fast you slay this giant shark.
Yeah.
I would say if we could, let's try to slay it in the next 8 minutes.
I'll just stab quickly.
All right.
It's gonna use. We're gonna. Oh no, I'm out of spells. Never mind. I guess we just stab it. Nothing more clever here to do, unfortunately. That one.
That's unfortunately.
We'll try this again. It's gonna be 5 + 9, 14.
Does hit.
Okay.
He's the broadside of a barn.
Just 11, unfortunately. I'm sorry, 8, unfortunately.
Okay, 8 points of damage.
Lame.
Yeah, that was a disappointing one, but
Oh no. Oh.
he has yet to hit once. So
Oh, but do I get flanking bonuses?
yeah, you
Would you
should.
let me reroll the first one?
Yeah, go ahead.
8 plus 9?
That hits.
Yeah. 17. Another 8.
Okay.
I'll roll one more just to pretend if I got a crit, but I didn't, so.
All right, so that brings us back to the giant shark's turn. The giant shark, feeling betrayed by Freya, is going to try to bite her back.
Oh no.
That is a 20 to hit.
That hits.
She's gonna hit.
That's
And
okay. I got it.
big old giant shark bite is going to be 15 points,
Moves a
halved
limb.
to 7.
Yeah. We're good.
Potham, you're up.
So if I attack with a warhammer, that is at disadvantage.
Correct.
Okay. Well, we'll square up here, and I'll do that disadvantage attack. I am going to hammer the hell out of this shark.
Straight roll since it's flanked.
Oh, just a straight. I don't get my +10 to that.
No, I'm just saying you have advantage
I
and
see.
disadvantage at the
I
same
gotcha.
time.
Oh, that is the worst thing that I could have done. I have an 11.
An 11 misses the giant shark.
Yeah, no, that's an natty 1. And because we have 2 attacks, we're gonna just. That was a warm up. That was a warm up swing. We're working underwater here.
Yeah,
26. for
that's
the
much.
second attack.
That does hit.
For 17 points of damage.
Nice. It's a big old smash. All right, giant shark's starting to look kind of rough. Pando's turn. Pando's going to come up. We got this bad boy surrounded. She's going to stick with what's been working for her. That's a rolling at advantage. That's an 18 and a 24. So she's going to hit. And 8 points of slashing damage to the giant shark. Freya.
Freya will, because we're flanked now, right?
Yep.
So just regular roll with Kimba's talent. Oh, 11.
11 misses.
Damn it. No. Okay, second attack. Come on. There we go. 18.
Mm-hmm.
17, 18, 19.
Nice. All right. With that big slash, you put an end to your friend.
Sorry,
And
friend.
the now cloudy with blood waters of this stretch of the dark waters starts to clear slowly.
Fran sheds a tear, but he can't tell because it's underwater.
You can't tell, yeah. All right, good. Let's park it there. You have cleared the area of immediate threats. How do I pause this? So there we go. And when we come back next time, we will continue exploring. But I am gonna award everybody some XP quick, which is, excuse me.
Bless you.
That is 750 experience points
Wow.
per player
Nice.
for that little encounter.
It's a good chunk of experience too.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
Manage experience. I'll do this for Pando here. 750. Yeah, so when we come back, we'll continue your exploration of this zone. That whole combat, that whole encounter took less than 5 minutes, so you guys are still early. You probably spent an hour of your 8 hours, I would say, at this point. So we'll pause it there.
Okay.
Good playing, everybody. Alex, good to see your face. Excited to see you in
Yeah.
person.